Alrighty. I think we're all set. Hello. We've made it. I did not even pour tea. Just raw dogging this one. What the fuck? How do I turn this off? There we go. Alrighty. Hello, Manny. Long time no see, home dog, homie. So much time has passed. No updates. Nothing worthy of mention.
I beat the GTA 5 story again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New opinions?
I think it's mid, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always thought it was mid.
Yeah.
I think it's too short.
Mm.
I think Michael's a bitch. I don't like Franklin. I think Trevor's the only like real one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like the least important character, you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well,
Michael is like
next to Franklin.
Michael clearly fucked over like his friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he acts like, "Hey, man, you can't be mad, man."
Yeah.
Like, like Trevor's so right to be like mad, but I feel like Michael's just like, "Hey, I had a family. I can fuck you over because I have family."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Right? Come on, guys." And Trevor's like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Mm.
So Michael's pissing me off. But yeah, I thought it was mid. My favorite GTA is GTA 4.
Yeah.
I don't think it lived up to that one.
Yeah. I remember you saying that. We should watch the movies that GTA 4 is based on or inspired by or whatever. That would be fun.
Mm.
You probably have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I know some. I heard of some of those movies.
Yeah. Your mic is like kind of like muffled like in and out. I don't know if you have like a phone case on or something. That might be, I don't know, covering the speakers. Um it's more common than it usually is now. I feel like it's like always there kind of, but it's not as prevalent. If you can't do anything about it, it's okay. But just in case. It's been a long time, dude. Or at least it feels like a long time.
If it keeps going,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just.
Okay. All right. We don't even really have movies to talk about. We have one. Kind of have one. But yeah, just go off. Tell me about the movies you watched.
Um,
I guess important for the audience. Me and Manny did record an episode in December and the whole audio got like fucked up because something happened on my end that made it all crackly. We talked about Scott Pilgrim, Pluto, and The Boy and the Heron. And I don't know if we want to revisit or repeat those discussions because it was a very long call. But we did talk about all those things. So those things have been expunged. I did not like Scott Pilgrim. Manny did. We both didn't like Pluto. And I guess mixed feelings on Boy and the Heron for both of us. For bofa. Turning my audio up now. Don't know how much of a difference that will make. Probably should. Maybe I should just keep it the same. Yeah.
all right.
Happy New Year, first off. This is the first time we're talking in the new year, in 2024. It's been 3 years, Manny. We've been doing this for 3 years. We're getting old. Synecdoche.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's so scary.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Hey man, and this is still the best thing I got going on.
Yeah, me
But
too.
so I'll start with uh Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh yes, please. Everybody, it's
That
over now, right?
yeah, that season, dude,
Man,
it took over like the world. Like it felt
yeah, everyone
like
was talking about it.
everyone was watching it.
Hmm.
Um, like after every Thursday, it was like number one trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, the memes are
Congratulations
great.
to Jujutsu.
Yeah, dude, it felt great
Mm-hmm.
being a part of it.
Cool.
The season was incredible. It was so good.
Yay. I'm
It was
glad.
so good.
I'm
Like
glad.
every episode, like when it gets like rolling, every episode was like a banger,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why everyone that was on Twitter was going crazy.
Yeah.
Um, everyone on TikTok was going crazy. The spoilers were going crazy. The manga guys came out trying to spoil shit. Bro. The manga guys were fist popular manga guys. Like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Like I can ruin shit for people now.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate manga people, bro. Like,
If you
but
can't beat him, join him.
I don't want to join that cult.
Yeah.
I join fucking the manga readers, and then I'm gonna start ruining the mood. But
Yeah.
fucking it was a great season. It was a great arc, and I'm excited for what's to come. I always thought JJK was gonna be good, and I think it's headed in a good direction.
Yeah.
So
Was
really
the
happy.
was the animation like a significant upgrade, like from the first
Yeah, I
season?
would say so.
That's what I like when I remember seeing the trailer and being like, "Damn, that shit
Mm.
looks great." Does it look better than Chainsaw Man? I've heard some people say that. I haven't even seen Chainsaw Man, so I don't know what the quality of that is. But
I'll probably say yeah.
nice.
Probably
Damn,
slightly.
JJK. Good. Good. Well, I'll check it out one day. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably slightly, but that was really good, man.
Rating? None.
For like a season, that's like a 10 out of 10 season, but
Whoa. Wow.
to me it was so good. Like it
Mm.
was crazy.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was so many like scenes. There's some scenes in there. It's one of my favorite scenes in like anime.
Oh my god. Okay. I gotta check this out. Now
Yeah,
now I'm like officially sold. Manny says it's a 10. Okay. I'll check it out. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna feel about it given my indifference towards season one. Not even hatred, just indifference. Because I like the movie. I'll be happy to see the guy from the movie. I'll be happy to see Gojo.
yeah.
I'll be happy to see the clapping guy. But yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, it was really good. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think for anime last season that was the only thing I watched. But this season, Mashal season 2 came out.
Yeah.
Class from the Elite season 3 I'm watching, and one more.
And no more.
No, there's one more.
Oh, one more.
What's it? Oh, Solo Leveling.
Oh yeah. How is that?
Second episode came out, but I didn't watch it yet. I only watched it first.
Mm-hmm. What studio is it?
I don't know.
Does it look good or does it look normal?
It looks normal.
Aw. All right. Well, let's see what all the hype is about. Finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Solo Leveling on manhwa. I've always had the perception that manhwa, whatever, the way that they're made on like web comics, they because they're web comics, like the nature of it being kind of like their exposure is from just like how much they're doing, and like I don't know, it's kind of like YouTube views but for like comics. Like that's kind of, I don't know if they get any income off of that or if like that's where their exposure primarily comes from. So they end up being longer than they like ought to be because of that. And that's why I was like, I'm never gonna read any of that stuff because that shit's too long. Only like not enough people are reading it for me to consume something of that length, even if it is really good.
Right. Nah, I know I heard they're all long.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, but
Yeah, and it's long and like we're making it up as we go along kind of long, and that's like an immediate turn off for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how much I don't know how much you can do with like solo leveling, but
Yeah. I mean,
we'll see.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a God of High School. They just destroy it at the end, nuke that shit. Promise Neverland style. Boom.
Nah, got a high school. Man, that was something.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like you had to be there to really grasp what happened.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. I just looked at it
It
and
was
I'm like, this doesn't look like something I'd want to watch anyways.
yeah, it was the overhyped show, and it bombed, and everyone was like, "Hey, read the webcomic."
Yeah.
It was so funny because it felt like everyone was just pointing fingers at.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
It was hilarious. But yeah, that felt bombed. Well, I also watched Korean anime
Oh,
called Look at Them. That's also a web comic, I think.
Korean.
Yeah.
Interesting. I saw it on your
Yeah.
list. I saw like the thumbnail and I'm like, wow, this looks so basic. What's the plot? Why did you watch it?
I watched it because my boy was talking about it in the party
Oh, okay.
PlayStation chat, and I was looking at it. And I was telling him, I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be so ass, bro. But I'm gonna watch it." And because me and him had a deep conversation about watching mid
Yeah.
in between the peak, and we were just talking about AOT.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I watched AOT, then I watched Monster, and before that, I watched Zero Experience Lane, and I was like, "Yo, I gotta watch the mid," and then I watched JJK.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, he was like, "Yeah, we gotta watch mid," and then this was 8 episodes, so I was like, "Whatever." I put it in dub. It's actually good. Yeah, I put it in dub. The dub's terrible. Animation terrible. The art style god awful.
What's it about?
It's about the fucking loser nerd who gets bullied severely,
Mm-hmm.
and he like prays to God. Then he becomes Chad, and then. But the thing is that like his real body, like you have it sleeping at the crib, but when he's out with his Chad body,
Mm-hmm.
then when he goes to sleep in his Chad body, he'll wake up at his normal self.
Oh my gosh.
So like what he did is like he quit school with his normal self and like started working with his fast self, and then he'd go to school as Chad.
Whoa. It's just an isekai, yeah.
Yeah, it's then of course then now he starts getting treated well. Everyone loves him,
Mm-hmm.
and then now he can fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the show's it's about like gangs. Like there's a bunch of gangs in the show, and they all try to fight, and he just beats everyone up.
Yeah.
And then like he would have the perspective of, oh, I used to get bullied, and he would see other kids get bullied at school, so he would try to save them.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, why are you trying to save me? I'm a loser. But then he'd be like, I'm just like you. Wow, in his chat. Yeah. Like no one.
Yeah.
You're not coming across, right?
Yeah.
So it's so dumb. It's funny because he's trying to relate to the lames. But,
Yeah.
and then at the end, this fat kid who gets bullied, he's like trying to become the main character, trying to be cool with him, and then the fat kid asks him to like sing at the talent show, sing with him at the talent show while he raps. Because the show makes references to like Eminem and shit. He's like, Eminem used to get bullied and shit like that.
Are you serious? That's so funny.
And then they do the talent show.
Mom's spaghetti.
Oh yeah. Then like the guy sings well, the guy raps well. Then they win his house show. Then like a record label guy who came for the Bullies, right? Who came to watch the Bullies, enjoyed their show and was like, and then went to Chad and was like, "Hey, I want you for my record." And Chad was like, hey, "What about my boy Eminem, the fat guy?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, he's good, but we
He
don't want him."
Cuz he's
And then
fat.
yeah, main character's like, "No, if you don't want both of us, I don't want to join."
Yeah.
And then the show ends.
Yeah.
But again, it's like a long running
Mhm.
thing about gangs and fighting.
Yeah, I see. Well,
See, and then one more thing. Then he meets a girl who's like nice to him in his fat form, and then he's always like, "Why is she so nice to me?" Blah blah. And then he meets her in his Chad form, but she's like she doesn't fuck with him in his Chad form
mm.
just because like she doesn't because she thinks she's like he's stuck up when he's not. But then it's revealed at the very end that she's also like has a fat form, a Chad woman body.
So wait, she was in the Chad woman body the whole time?
Yeah,
And she wants to be judging. I mean, I guess she didn't assume that anybody else could do it, but that's crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy. That's so funny. That's actually
yeah.
that sounds
And,
fun. That sounds actually pretty fun.
yeah,
It sounds like I would
um,
laugh at that. I'd have a good time.
yeah. There's some funny parts,
Hmm.
but it's all about fighting. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, who's this new Chad in school? Let's beat him up, and then he just fucks
Baki.
everyone.
Sounds like Baki.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
but yeah, it was.
It was a mid show. You got to take a break. That's what I've been doing recently. In the beginning of this year, you should see my list, bro. I've been watching like ones and twos like back to back. It's been rough. Huh?
Anime
No, I took a
movies.
break from like anime, like strictly movies, yeah. Ones and
Mm,
twos movies, and then I'll jump to like an 8 out of 10 movie and I'll be like, whoa. I need the whiplash to not be that strong, like low key. I need to like genuinely watch like mid. It's been so long.
yeah,
I
mid
don't
is
intend to
good.
watch 1 out of 10s. They just end up being 1 out of 10s. I'm just like, what the fuck? But
Yeah, mid is good. Mid is only bad when people say it's good.
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's that's my problem.
Yeah.
But look at some 4 out of 10. It's funny
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Funny. It's funny. It's funny to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank God it's 8 episodes. If it was 12, I'll be like, fuck.
Fuck.
I don't know if I was gonna watch it.
Mhm.
But yeah. That's it for anime. Let's see. No, it's not it for anime. I watched an anime movie,
Oh.
Makoto Shinkai movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched 5 centimeters per second.
Mm.
You heard of that one?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Is
I've
it
been meaning to watch this.
is
Go
it
ahead.
similar to Your Name and the other stuff in the sense that it's like about relationships and kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about a relationship, but this one was like grounded.
Yeah, no supernatural thing.
Yeah. Um, I've been meaning to watch this for years.
Yeah, this one's popular.
Years. Yeah.
People know about this. I knew about
I
this
mean,
before Your Name.
yeah, me too. Like, I've always seen it because it will always be at the front, Crunchyroll for me back in the day. I
Yeah.
always had it on my list. But yeah, that's way back in the day. But I got to it. It's short, and it's like it was. It's kind of cool. It's like three. It's like three arcs.
Yeah, disconnected completely. Or
Now they connect.
okay. Same characters
Yeah.
each time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the second arc adds a new female, but
Okay.
let's read about the other one.
Mhm.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. You can like spoil it and stuff. I don't feel like I'm gonna watch anytime soon.
So it's been a while, but movie starts. Pretty much the main guy's kind of quiet, reserved, so they become friends in that way.
Mm-hmm.
They're like kids. They really like each other, but the main character moves away, and I think they meet again on vacation. They do. They meet on vacation, and they both were gonna confess they loved each other, but uh, the main character lost his love letter, and the girl just never gave it to the guy. Right. That was the end of vacation. But then he goes to like a different school.
How old are they?
And I don't know.
Teenagers, like high school. You don't have no idea. That's okay. That's okay.
Maybe like
Not your name age. They
no,
okay.
no. They're probably like middle school.
Oh, okay.
Then he moves, and then there's another girl that likes him, but she can tell like that he's like longing for something, like main girl. But and like she tried to confess to this nigga, but like again, like she was about to, but then like she can tell like he was like still longing for something in the past.
Mulholland Drive.
Right. And then and then uh and then they grow up. They're like grown-ups now. The guy's life is like ass. Well, the thing is, the guy's life is like mid, right?
Yeah.
And then and then he's like alone, got nobody. You don't know what the female's up to. But then he goes on like a journey, not to like find her, but kind of like to find himself, I guess. I could be wrong. It was a long time.
Yeah.
But then like at the end, the girl and the guy crossed each other at a railroad they met, or they used to meet when they was kids. And then he was like in his head, he was like, "What if I turned around?" And then as he's turning around, the girl turns around, but then the train crosses, and
Okay.
then he's still looking. When the train goes, and then she's gone. The movie ends, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the ending.
You don't like the ending?
I do.
Yeah.
I like the ending when like motherfuckers don't get their way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was reading comments. People like, after all that, he doesn't get the girl. I'm like, yes, he doesn't. We don't all get the girl. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's short compared to the other ones. It's like I don't know. For me, it didn't feel like heartfelt enough, or
Yeah.
it didn't like really move me enough.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Makoto needs supernatural shit in there. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch the other movies, but no, I did. I watched Garden of Sinners. I think that one's better.
Isn't Garden of Sinners the not Makoto Shinkai like series of films? You mean Garden of Words or the one?
It might be Words. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That didn't have supernatural stuff. That one has the production quality of like a Your Name or like a Suzume. Does that one? That one does not have any supernatural thing.
Well, Garden of Words?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, but I think I like that one more than this one.
Yeah.
But
it was shorter.
yeah, I think this one had one good scene where like the girl that liked him in the second arc would like he'll be like looking at the sky. I forgot if it was like I don't know. I forgot what was going on in the sky. If it was like a Your Name comet or like fireworks, but he kept looking at the sky, and it was like, and then she had like her internal monologue of like him like longing for the past. And I thought that was cool. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I watched that a long time ago.
Did he have?
I don't remember.
Do you have a rating?
Like 5.
Okay.
But yeah, now that was the end of the anime. But now, okay. Then I watched Camp Rock 1 and 2.
Yeah, I've never seen them.
Really?
Yeah, they're classics. I've never seen them.
Oh man,
Yeah, I know. Tell me about
Disney
them.
was Disney was making bangers back then.
They were. That was
Cause
like a
I
made
saw
movie.
I saw this. I saw this as a kid. 'Cause I remember when Disney would come out with movies like this, and it'd be mad commercials, and it'd be hyped, and then
Yeah.
like the day comes, you can't miss it.
Yeah. And they do a
Yeah,
countdown. They have a countdown in the
yeah.
corner of the screen during everything else. Like,
Yeah.
hey, remember, it's on.
It's so hype, bro. And then like the mini commercials they'll do for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, um, but yeah, I decided to rewatch because the Jonas Brothers. I saw a TikTok of them, and I was like,
Yeah, I think they got back together for a tour or something.
right. And then I saw a TikTok of them, and I was like, oh yeah. And I just felt like being nostalgic.
Yeah.
And then I watched the movie. I thought there was 3 movies for some reason, but there's only 2.
Mm.
So I was prepared to watch all 3, and they're all like a 1 hour 30, right?
Yeah.
So I watch it. Demi Lovato, all 3 Jonas Brothers.
I actually
And
didn't
this is
know
what,
that. I only knew Jack Black was in it. I didn't even know the Jonas Brothers were in it. That's cool.
yeah.
But say everything. Say everything you want. It's okay if you spoil.
No, I don't even remember the other actor, but
Hmm.
another famous actor was there. But um, she goes to she goes she goes to Camp Rock after begging her parents, but she went because her mom had to get a job as like a mom cooks the food, right?
Yeah.
So that's how she got in.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she gets there, like everyone's like cool. Everyone's like has like history. Everyone has like some type of foot in the game, the music game, right? And she
Yeah.
doesn't. She can just sing. So she gets there, runs into the popular girl, whose mom is like super famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts lying. Demi Lovato starts lying about her past, like, yeah, like my mom is like Beyonce, right? And and then they're like the cool guys, oh yeah, Beyonce, that's so cool. You should join our little clique, the cool girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she joins, and then the other like cool girl was like not cool girl, the other good girl that's like one of the protagonists, like she's like, don't join them, they're bad, blah blah. Blah. But Demi Lovato joins anyway, and then like the cool girl, the coolest girl, the blonde, they're always blonde, right? She makes Demi become like a background singer, and then like Demi's not like throughout the movie she's like, I don't want to be a background singer, blah blah blah, and then the cool girl gets jealous because she can sing really really well, and then like the cool girl catches Demi Lovato at the start was singing a song, then one of the Jonas Brothers, Joe Jonas, the main one, heard her singing. She's like, "Damn, that voice is so amazing. Who is that?" And then
Jojo.
like,
Jojo.
JoJo. I'm gonna call him JoJo. JoJo. Um, didn't see the girl who's singing, but was like, "Oh, I gotta find that girl. Her voice is amazing." Keep in mind, Joe Jonas is there because he had a controversy, and he's going to Camp Rock to like fix his image.
He got
Not real.
canceled.
It's like real life.
No. This movie was ahead of its time.
Nah,
2006.
it definitely was.
Yo, that's fucking crazy. 2008. Good job, Camp Rock.
Yeah.
Predicted the future.
Trust me, when I was watching it, and that was his reasoning, I was like, oh shit, that's why. That's a good reason.
Save my
Even
reputation.
like his brothers, like Nick Jonas, Kevin Jonas, they're not there in the first movie because it just keeps going. Yeah, you got to fix your image, bro. Like,
Oh,
you keep telling me.
like in the movie, like they are his brothers and they're like part of like a band and he has to like leave the band because that's funny.
Mhm.
That's very funny.
Yeah, they call it like Connect 3 in the movie. But fast forward on, blonde girl gets jealous.
Connect 3, like the game. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny. Okay.
It's pretty, I like that. I like that. But, then like Joe, and then the blonde girl sees the blonde girl sees Joe being cool with with Demi Lovato, and then the blonde girl gets jealous, sets her up, goes in her diary, and like catches her in the lie, right? In front of everyone, she's like, "Hey, Demi Lovato, isn't your mom Beyonce? Tell us about her," right?
Did they
And then
actually
Demi
say
Lovato,
Beyonce in the movie?
no, no, no.
Oh, okay.
But then she's like, she's like, right, and then she gets caught lying in front of the whole camp, and then Joe Jonas is like, Jojo comes and he's like, "You lying this whole time?" He's just like everyone else, right? And then she hit rock bottom.
Lost all of her sponsorships.
Yeah, now she has to fix her image.
Yep.
Then the blonde girl accused her of stealing something, which she like planted on her or like, with her, and then like they caught her stealing, just so she got kicked out of like the final jam, right? The final jam's about to come up, and then and whoever wins the final jam gets a song with JoJo. Gets to do a song with JoJo too. So they get kicked out, and then the movie goes. Final jam goes. The blonde girl. The blonde girl sings her song, but the blonde girl mom comes and she's like, fucks up her performance in front of her mom. Boo, boo. Right, and then one of the blonde girl's lackeys then like does a solo song. It was great. It was great. She won the final jam, won the lackeys, which is cool, right? It wasn't like Demi or it was like one of the lackeys. And then Demi goes to the guy who runs it. It's like, yo, like the final jam technically ended. We can sing our song now. And she's like, yeah. And then they go sing a song. And then JoJo sees right there that it was her singing the song all along. And they become cool.
Yeah.
And then the blonde girl apologizes. The whole camp sings together. The movie ends. It was a cool movie. I really liked it. And I'm gonna go quick through the second one. Second one, there's a rival camp across the lake. They got beef. The blonde girl comes back as like a good character, so she's like a good guy now. But then the other camp, they got like money and shit, so she joins them. A couple people from the camp rock joins them, and everyone's like, "What the fuck, bro?" And then the camp's about to close down, but then like Demi Lovato rallies everyone up, and now like JoJo and Demi Lovato are like going out now in the second movie, but they don't have no time to be together because Demi is like running the camp now. Because they got to prepare for like another final jam against the other camp. They go. The Jonas Brothers, the Connect Three are in this movie now. Like they're actually in it.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing. But then pretty much the final battle comes. The guy in the final battle says, "Yo, this shit's rigged, bro. The other camp's gonna win anyway, right?" And they're like, "Yo, it's rigged. You're not gonna win." I'm like, "All right." Then they both perform, and then the other camp wins. I was like, "Oh, this is good shit."
Yeah. That's cool.
I like the way it's revealed how they won because like they put it in slow mo and it's like zooming into Demi Lovato's face. All you see is like despair, like take off. It's like, and then you see the other camp like, Demi's like, I really like that scene. It was a really cool scene. And like again, like I said earlier, like I like these movies. Like Demi Lovato, like never like won the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Like they lost, and then the lackey won the first one. And then they go back to the camp. They're like having fun and shit. And then the people from the other camp come over to this camp, and they're like, "Hey, can we join your camp next year? Because you guys have a lot more fun here." because it's like over there's more industrialized, right?
Yeah.
And then Damon's like, yeah, you guys can join. And then like they all come over to this side, and then they sing a song. Movie ends.
Yeah.
I really like these. I really like these two movies.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Really good.
Cool.
Disney. Shout out to y'all, man.
Have you seen Sky High? That's like my Disney countdown movie where I watched it like on TV. I've never seen Halloween Town. That's like a Disney classic that everyone's seen. Yeah.
Have you seen Let It Shine?
Yes, I have. I've seen Let It Shine multiple times.
Yeah, that's a banger.
that is a good focus tested banger for us. I forgot about that movie until you said it. I really did.
Yeah, when I think of Disney, Camp Rock, Let It Shine, Peak, like I don't know, Surf's Up too. I don't even remember that one.
Surf's Up was like almost like a theatrical like one. I don't even know if that was a Disney movie, but maybe it was on Disney Channel still. Yeah.
Yeah. But good movies. Number 6.
Nice. High score. Beat 5 centimeters per second. 6 centimeters per beat. With Demi Lovato and the three what do you call it? Connect 3.
Right. Alright. Then I watched Robocop. I knew going into Robocop that I knew it was gonna feel exactly like Terminator. It does. Movie short, easy premise. Movie starts, new cop chases the main bad guy, gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Like they
really fucked up. Like
and, he gets revived to Robocop. Robocop does his thing.
And that's the movie.
The bad guy turns out to be working for the company. And then Robocop's fucking everyone up, and then the main guy like fucks up Robocop because he implanted some secret sauce.
Some secret sauce. Yeah.
And,
the kill switch.
Yeah, and then Robocop gets beat up, gets saved by the female cop, and then he goes to like the final guy. Actually, he like fucks everyone up in his new form, where like, you see his face now. Goes to the final guy, and the final guy, you can't kill me, because the kill switch, whatever. And then the boss of the company is like, you're fired. And then Robocop's like, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Which is a cool scene. I really like that. Yeah, I watched this. It's a classic, but like I said before, he was in Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
And I want to see how he was in the game and in the movie. And the way they put him in the game was fire.
Yeah. I did see that in the game. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Robocop was
cool. Game. Sorry about the game. The GTA 5, the thing I sent you.
The reference to No Country for Old Men. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was playing this game while driving across the countryside. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Pull up.
I'm driving. I see it. I pull up. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I lost it.
You never knew about that?
No.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
But that was so cool.
Yeah.
I saw it. I'm looking at these bodies. I'm like, these are all Mexicans. Everyone's dead.
What did you do? Did you grab the suitcase?
I grabbed the money, and the guy's like, he's like, we're going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And I shot him in that.
Oh, you survived?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I died when I did it, and I got very upset. I was like, fuck, I really am not good enough for this game. I got so upset. Because it doesn't like respawn. It's like an Easter egg. You can't do it again. So I was like, wow, I literally lost all that money. I could have used that.
Yeah, you lost No Country for Old Men, bro.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but it was so cool. I knew it instantly, bro. No, fire. Good stuff, GTA. I want more of that shit in GTA 6.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, RoboCop. That was a good like calm movie. I
Yeah.
don't think it holds to Terminator.
Really? You were saying like Terminator was like kind of like an obligatory like watch. Would you say that RoboCop maybe was like a more you would say it's not
Well,
more enjoyable than Terminator?
well, if I'm thinking of Terminator 1 and 2,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
yeah, but
Well, hey,
Terminator 1,
watch RoboCop 2, see what happens. I mean, no one talks about it, but I don't know. No, no, no.
I'm not gonna soil it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But Terminator, Terminator 2 was like great.
Mhm.
But Terminator 1, this is like RoboCop's on the same level as like Terminator 1. It might even be like slightly better.
Hmm.
I don't know. They're like the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
they're like the same exact movie. It feels the same.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, just the robots on our side from the
Right.
first movie.
Mhm.
But fun watch.
Yeah.
Short movie.
They did a remake, I think in like 2014, and I was in high school, and I'll never forget, like I saw it, and there's like he gets, it's like the same thing. He gets fucked up at the beginning, and then there's a part where they show him his body, like what remains of it, and it's his head, his lungs, like they show him in like the robot suit, and he's like, show me my real body, and then the robot suit disassembles, and he's like, oh my god, oh my god, and it's just his lungs and just his right hand and his brain, like I don't know, the image is just so funny. It's horrifying, and he's like crying, and like I remember it was supposed to be like a horrifying scene, but I just thought it was so goofy, like wow, how does that work? Like your lungs, your head, and your hand. But yeah.
Everything necessary, man.
Uh-huh. I don't think his hand was even connected to like his brain at that point, so it was interesting. But I think about that every day.
I'm interested to see some scenes from that.
Mhm.
Probably put that after.
Yeah.
But RoboCop, fun watch. Probably like a
6.
5 out of 10.
Mhm.
5, 6. Whatever Terminator 1 is, that's where it is.
Okay.
Okay, then I watched The Big Lebowski.
Yay! I haven't seen it recently. I didn't watch it like for this one cuz they took it off of Netflix like right before you wanted to watch it. But yeah, you could talk about that for a long time. Is that the last thing? Or
No,
okay.
no, I'll talk about Fargo first.
Yeah, okay.
I watched Fargo.
Fargo. Also seen
Minutes
Fargo.
I like the cover art.
Yeah, the cover art's cool.
First thing I noticed is that the movie doesn't even take place in Fargo. Wait a minute.
I don't even know where Fargo is.
Okay, good. All right, because Fargo has ties to Big Lebowski, right?
Well, same guys, you know.
Yeah, but there's like some Easter eggs in there.
I didn't even know.
They're pretty cool.
That's cool.
Fargo, it's like, I think it's in North Dakota, but it didn't even take place in Fargo. It takes place, I forgot what the city's called. But the city has a less cool name. So,
yeah.
I thought the movie was good. I love Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, he's really good.
That guy, he's in everything, dude.
Yeah, I know. He's literally in everything. Like it's funny.
He's in Reservoir Dogs and Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite actors. He's like in my top 5.
Oh, cool.
Seeing him was great.
Yeah.
And he carried the movie because he
did.
like when the whole thing happens, and it's kind of on the bad guys, like they turn to like the main characters. He's just like carrying, because the other bad guys just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But he definitely carries. It's really not really much happened.
It's one of those movies that earnestly, I think the last time I watched it, I felt like I understood it more, but the first time I was like, I don't know what this movie is exactly like saying and what it's doing. It felt to me like the first time I watched Big Lebowski, where I was like, I enjoyed that, but I'm confused on like what the ultimate point was, or I feel like there's more to like pick apart on like a second viewing. That's at least how I felt. Because there's a lot of things people say about Fargo where I'm like, I did not understand that the first time I watched it. Or like, this piece of information seems critical, and like, I don't know how I would have like derived that from the movie, or I don't understand how people interpret that. Like, you know, in the beginning it says like, this is based on a true story, and like apparently it's not like at all.
Yes.
And I don't understand why that's acceptable. I don't really know what makes everybody okay with that, because that seems just really weird to just like be like, nah, we lied. And it's like, is there a point to you lying? And people act like there is. Like, I've heard people like YMS be like, that's the point. And I'm like, why? I don't know. So I feel like there's things that I don't get. And then that makes me question, like, what's the point of the show? Because the show does the same thing. They do the like based on a true story thing. And I'm like, why would you, if that's not true, like, why would you say that? So I don't know.
I watched it. One reason why I wanted to watch it is because it was based on a true story.
Yeah.
And when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, that's a crazy like real life story. Then I found out it was fake.
Yeah, telling you it's real like really like makes you more into it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I feel so cheated when like they say like, oh no, it's not real. And then when people are like, that's the point, I'm like, what? So I don't know.
Like a movie plot, it's pretty tame, but for like in real life, it's insane. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that's mad funny.
Yeah, and maybe they just said that to make it work better for you, and I mean it did. like you know, when I didn't know that. And the second time I accepted it. Say again.
I bet this saying that got a lot of people to go to the theater.
Yeah.
At the time.
But it also won like Best Picture and stuff too. So it's like, it's interesting.
I got a call.
Take your time.
No, I'm not picking up.
Yeah. So Fargo is just a movie that the last time I watched it, I gave it an 8 because I felt like the last time I kind of told myself, you know what, like this and the show I will accept as like they lied to you so that you could kind of ground yourself in this being real and kind of connect with the human, you know, elements of this story and try to like perceive these people as like real people, even the ones that are like the most evil. And then maybe them framing it that way forces you to kind of acknowledge that this is a interpretation of a movie and not like a direct one-to-one adaptation of something. So you're getting like the guy who is, I don't know, like Javier Bardem, like the silent guy, like that doesn't talk. He is scarier to me, like knowing that it's a real story and knowing that like they don't know what the deal is with this guy. There's no like backstory. That's just who he is. He's just like a scary guy that did awful things. And how do we deal with that? Like as people that like can't even answer this story based on a true story where we don't even know the full truth as to why XYZ thing happened, you know? Did you freeze?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So that's something that I thought. And I really like that ending. That ending where like she's driving in the car. I don't remember exactly what she says, but she says some like fire shit. She says like a line that I love.
I don't remember the line, but I know
she's like, it's such a good day outside. And then like the music plays and it's like that theme song, 10 out of 10 theme song. Like, nah, nah, like, oh, I don't know how it goes. It's been a while.
I forgot how much money it was, but she's like $10,000. I just don't understand it.
yeah.
And he just written back like,
yeah. The look he gave was so cool. Just like in the car, like I think he did a good job as being like just a guy standing there being scary. I love when like he grabs the police officer's head. He's like, bang! Like, oh, it was so scary. Was that Siri?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of moments. You see Steve Buscemi's penis. That's a part.
Fucking. I know I really like the female cop. I know all the subtlety like lies within her character.
Yeah.
Nah, honestly, I just couldn't pick it apart.
She's the hero protagonist that is just so like in all of this evil stuff happening with like all these other people that are like, you know, doing all these bad things. She's like the one beacon of like, no, I am truly a good person like in all of this. And that's kind of what that final line like encapsulates for me, where it's just, where she's just like, dude, I genuinely don't understand like why you did this.
Yeah,
And that's so sweet, because if she did understand, then she might not, she just wouldn't be who she is. She wouldn't be happy. She wouldn't be like a, you know, happy housewife with her husband Norm at home. That scene at the dinner with the Asian guy, that shit confused the hell out of me. I like,
yeah,
to this day, it feels like the most important scene in the movie, but I don't understand like exactly why it's there. But
yeah.
yeah.
I know all those I know all those hits mean something. I just don't know.
And it'll motivate me to watch the movie again multiple times in the future.
Mhm.
I liked it enough to where like on the second watch I was like, I feel like I understood more this time. I don't understand more the third time and the fourth time. I don't think I've ever said this on the call, but some people say like the second time you watch a movie is truly like when you watch is like your first time watching it. And
Mhm.
I kind of agree with that to an extent. There's like a lot that you don't realize the first time you watch something. So maybe it takes 5 times. Fargo is one of those movies for me, at least.
Mhm.
But that show though, the first season of the show, whoo, still one of my favorite seasons of television. That shit's so good. So
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I know someone else told me that too. The
Mhm.
first season.
Oh, I fucking love it. I think I watched it twice. I think I watched it twice in my lifetime. I don't do that with normal shows.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, but yeah, I don't really have much to say, but I think for now I'm gonna go with 7.
Nice. Yeah.
All
Um
right.
all right.
I watched The Big Lebowski, and then and the ties it has to Fargo. Of course, the silent guy and Buscemi's in it, right?
Mhm.
But Bunny, the girl that got kidnapped,
Mhm.
she has the same last name as the female cop in the, in the Fargo, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Oh wow. Oh my
yeah,
god. Wow, that's cool. I didn't even know that.
yeah. No, I thought that was so cool. And
That's
then
really cool.
I remember in Fargo, the big guy at one point was like, "You saying like I want pancakes?" And then like I think the first time you see him in this movie, he's ordering pancakes. There's that, and then there was one more thing.
Who is he in Big Lebowski?
He's like the German guy, or like the foreign guys.
Oh, like that come to his house and like fuck him up?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Gotcha.
He doesn't seem as big,
Yeah.
but yeah. Then there's something else. I think they like mentioned Fargo
Mm,
or the city that the movie takes place
I see.
in the Big Lebowski, but I forgot. But it's pretty cool. But the Big Lebowski, um,
Yeah, what did you think?
I've seen people talk about it, and a lot of people talk about like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
People bring up um, people like to bring up like the Iraq War, and, like
Really?
you ever heard shit like that?
No, no. Okay. That's interesting.
Um, People bring up like just American politics around that time.
Oh. Oh yeah. When did it come out? 2000? Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe early 2000s. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
people talking like 11 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's very funny. I don't doubt that it does matter to some extent, honestly. Maybe to those people, like, I don't know.
nah,
Made a
they say
good.
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, my viewing, you know, I was kind of just,
Enjoying it the first time.
I was, I'm not gonna lie, I was like hyper focused on the plot,
Yeah.
and I know it's a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm.
The comedy didn't really set in for me till the end. You know,
Mm.
like I knew it was a comedy movie, but I don't know why I was so like locked in on the plot,
Yeah.
and you know, the plot really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really happens,
Yeah.
or like things happen, but it's more of a it's more of a like a character driven movie
Yeah.
because dude is in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's in every single scene, and the you know the plot's so like it's so weird and confusing
Yeah.
because like it's so it feels like I feel like Pulp Fiction because it's like okay, the girl got kidnapped or did she? And then like these foreign guys come asking for money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then like the Big Lebowski's like, yo, give him the money, but then like he doesn't care about the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are foreign guys that were throwing me off. I was like, are these guys in cahoots with Big Lebowski?
Mm.
And then the guys who robbed his rug, like who were those guys?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I was lost. I was lost. But then didn't it turn out being that she kidnapped herself? Or like the Big Lebowski was in it too?
I don't think he was in on the scam, but it turned out that like she was fine, and she was like lying, or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, um Synecdoche guy.
Yeah, man. The goat.
The guy in hospital. R.I.P.
Yeah, I know.
When I saw him, I was like, Synecdoche.
Synecdoche, yeah. He's really
My
good.
boy Philip.
He's really good in
Yeah.
like everything. He actually like plays different characters in other movies. There are some people that play the same guy in every movie, even if it's a different franchise. But he truly like feels like he plays like a different dude in like the things that
Yeah.
he's in. And I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P. man.
R.I.P. Yeah. What a shame.
But yeah, I was happy to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Boy Philip.
My boy.
But yeah, when it came to the plot, man, I was lost.
Mm.
Um,
A lot of things
and
happen.
then with the plot, it was like it was the bowling and the bowling guy, Jesus.
Yeah. He's from
And the
Transformers.
funny thing about that guy, completely unrelated. You know, I play Rainbow.
Is he in Rainbow?
Nah, the one of the best Rainbow players. His name's Bolo, and that guy's his channel mascot.
Oh, okay, okay.
And on stream, like I think when someone like subs to him, they'll play the sound like nobody fucks with the Jesus, right? I've been watching this guy for years. I never knew where that was from.
Oh, cool, cool.
And when he said the line, dude,
You lost your shit.
I was like,
Started punching the pillow like it was the ending of Steinsky. Like, oh my god, it all makes sense.
yeah, dude,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. It was a crazy. That
Yeah,
was crazy, man.
yeah.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Nobody.
Cool line.
Indeed.
And you know, the funny thing about that guy is like, you know, he has the epic introduction, talks mad shit, but he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And bowling is just like a backdrop. It's like where they meet.
Mm-hmm.
And you never see dude bowl.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. People read into this movie a lot, and I feel like because the movie is so intentionally loose and like nothing really matters and everything kind of amounts to nothing, you can read into each thing, not like making sense or not meaning anything, and like you can, I don't know, justify it in the grand scheme of like the whole thing somehow. Like the Jesus character, the dude looks like Jesus, and there's a false Jesus being like don't fuck with that Jesus, when literally like you know, the actual quote unquote Jesus in this movie like doesn't fuck with him, and like nothing happens, right? And like I don't know, like there's things that you can like pull, and it's fun to rewatch because at least I find the movie funny. I think I was like you the first time, where like the plot was confusing and I was like following it, but I watched it in theaters the first time, so that might have helped with me finding it funny. But I also was lost, but I was just like, you know what, that was fun, and now I've seen it, and I can confidently say that it was funny like from beginning to end, and I can't even say that about most movies. So I was just happy about that. But
I thought the World War II guy was funny, because any chance he get, he make a reference to World War II.
Yeah, he was great. I liked
even at the end when he sorry to cut you off, but when he was like
with the ashes,
pouring poor Steve's ashes.
Yeah.
And he like brought up World War II, and dude was like, dude, what the fuck? You know what I read? Apparently, it was supposed to be revealed at that right there that dude was gonna say that he never was in World War II.
The dude or the other guy? Yeah.
Yeah, dude was gonna be like, you never went to Vietnam. No, I think World War II. It was Vietnam. He's gonna say like, yo, you never went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
But apparently,
I think that's good.
They took that out.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
It's good that they cut that out.
But yeah, that guy's funny, because if that guy was around me, I would lose
it. Yeah.
Because even though like dude would be like, yo, they're gonna kill the girl, and he's like, no, they're not. and then even though dude's about to give them the money, and then he like fucks it up. This dude is just infinite stress, bro. And then he points a gun at the guy playing bowling. Yeah, that guy was hilarious. Probably my favorite character.
Yeah, definitely my favorite part of the movie. I loved when he like spread the ashes and it splashed back in his face. That was actually like fucking like 10 out of 10 joke. Like that was so funny. Like I was not expecting that. Oh man.
And when he was talking about him, you seen all this shit, but like when he was alive, you just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's funny because like I feel like this movie does a good job at like being, I don't know, it kind of has it's kind of like Fargo, where there's like the harsh negatives and then like the harsh positives like contrasting with each other, and it's happening not in super explicit ways. Like, you know, they tell the guy to shut up, but then when he dies, it's like really sad and they feel really bad. But then afterwards, it's almost like they don't care, or they like moved on very quickly, you know? And yeah, and then the entire movie is kind of like that, where, you know, all this crazy shit happens and it's just like, it's like whatever, you know? And I feel like I think that's why people like this movie so much, because I think a lot of people just feel like it encompasses a lot about life, you know? There's some really evil things, there's some really scary things, there's some really sad things, some mean things, but at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter. Just enjoy yourself. just have fun, laugh at the whole situation, laugh at how hard and weird life is. I think that's what The Big Lebowski like means, or that's like the purpose that I got out of it, at least on my second viewing. Yeah.
I watched one of my favorite scenes is when Steve Buscemi died. And then the dude comes over when he's having a heart attack, and he's like, dude's like, yo, did you get shot? I remember when I watched it, I was like, did he get shot?
I think what was funny about that, I don't know if anybody had a gun. I think that's
no one had a gun.
Yeah.
So he's like, yo, did you get hit? I was like, damn, did he get shot?
Nah, just had a heart attack.
Yeah. Now, but I know like a lot of people. I know one thing I read was someone saying like the Big Lebowski, and what did he say? I thought this too when I was watching it. Like he was saying some other shit, but he also said this. Like, how did dude like get in this guy's office? Like, how did he just like get this meeting with this guy, right? And then and then the guy was saying that like, fuck, I don't remember. It was so cool though. It really ties in the movie for me a
Yeah.
lot. But I forgot. But I don't think I have anything else to say.
Yeah, that's okay. Do you have a rating?
Yeah, I give it an 8.
Yeah. I
It was a
think
cool one. It's definitely there's a lot. There's a lot of shit going on.
yeah.
I think there's definitely room for a rewatch. You know, it's funny too. Steve Buscemi, his bowling jersey always had a different name on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
one
See.
said Dave. It was like Lewis.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know that one season he was like, I'm a walrus.
No. Like the
Like,
Jesus character or Steve
no,
Buscemi?
Buscemi, like him and the Vietnam guy was just talking, and then he'd be like, I'm a walrus, and look at the camera.
And look at the camera. That's funny. See, it's shit like that. There's something about this movie. I know I this might be going too far, but there's something like very Synecdoche-esque about this movie where it's like this feels like it's bigger than I can even comprehend. It feels like there's so much that it means, and like kind of like Synecdoche where you rewatch it and you're like, oh, I didn't even notice that. Like Big Lebowski feels like that.
Yeah.
But it's on like a surface level, on like a first viewing, it does feel very like casual friendly. And that's kind of what I respect about this movie so much. Like I find it funny, like from beginning to end, and on rewatch, like even if you kind of are like, damn, bro, I didn't analyze that much this time, and I didn't really get anything more out of it. Like, I don't know, you still just experience like a solid like 2 hours, hour and a half of like great jokes and like John Goodman being like, I'm gonna fuck your mom in the ass. Oh wait, no, he says this is what it feels like when you get fucked in the ass, and then he bashes the car. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, good movie.
Yeah. I think this is
I know this is like a classic. Cause I know they made like Dudism like a religion.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah.
You never heard of that?
No, I have.
It's hilarious.
I fuck with it. Let him rock.
Cause he looks like Jesus too. Kind of hilarious. Nobody fucks with it either.
What did you think of the guy, like the omniscient character that looked at the camera and like talked, like the cowboy guy? He's like, the dude is quite a dude. That like at the very end of the movie and the beginning.
That's the fucking Mulholland Drive guy.
Yeah. I know. He's so cool. That's like one of my favorite scenes, like the ending of the movie when the dude just walks away and he's like, what a guy.
Yeah. There's something about like mysterious cowboys. You know what I mean?
They're spooky.
They are spooky.
They know everything.
Yeah.
There's something about cowboys that makes it feel like they know more than you do. And it does have that like, it does kind of have that like Fargo-y, like being very direct with the viewer kind of moments. Like, I don't know, Fargo does it in just saying this is based on a true story. This guy does it in saying like, well, what do you think about the dude? What did you get out of this experience? And it just kind of makes you feel like, wow, there's something here that, you know, I gotta pick at. You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then you put into perspective that like this is the movie they made after Fargo, and this is a weird movie. Like they made this movie off of the clout that they got with Fargo, and maybe No Country for Old Men was before this as well. I don't know, but like
Yeah.
they really used their power like in Hollywood like to their fullest advantage and just made like some weird shit, and I respect it so much for that. Yeah, I love that cowboy.
Nah, that was dope.
Mm-hmm.
That was dope.
It was a fun time. One of those. It's like the other ones. Something that we could watch multiple times and have multiple things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I gave it a 10. I think it's one of my 10s. When you were saying a while ago, when you were like, I don't think a comedy can be like anything like more than an 8. I was thinking about this movie. I was like, this is like the movie I would say is like at least an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I give it an 8.
Good shit. Good shit. All right. Anything else?
I watched a banger, man.
You watched a banger. Hold on, let me stop the thing. All right. Are we on to our final movie? I didn't talk about any of my stuff, but that's okay.
Yeah. No, you can talk about your stuff after. But
yeah.
I watched a banger, man.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Truman Show.
Talk to me about the Truman Show. Man.
What a banger, man.
Nice.
You know, going into it, I know you told me a little about it. You saying like guys and like he's like an isekai, right? He's like an unknown isekai. But I remember you told me that like a light, like a
stage light. A stage light.
Stage light falls down
Mm-hmm.
at the movie, and it's like what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
So even though I knew like that the world's not real,
yeah,
from the jump, it didn't take anything away. I was so like the premise alone, like when you was talking about it, and I think Lewis's list is a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you was talking about it, it sounded so cool, so I watched it, and it's short.
Yeah,
this has to be like one of the best short movies ever. Old boy short too, but fucking this shit has like endless scenes. Like every scene is insane, right? Especially like with the given context. Even like the stage right thing, like that is so crazy. Like if something like that happened to me, like imagine that just happened, you know, to you or like right now, like that'd be so like it's so crazy to think about, like being that guy, being put in those shoes, you know. But like every scene was like a banger, and then like, and if it wasn't, it was when given context, right?
Yeah.
Like fucking, for example, like his pops drowning. Yeah. Like I thought that was like a normal scene, and then like when it showed his dad and his dad's like acting, and I was like, oh my god! And they did that so he would have a fear of oceans, so he doesn't get out. It's insane. Oh my god, man! Endless scenes. You know, and his boy, like his best friend, is there.
I know.
Looking straight at, bro. I would never lie to you.
I know. That shit's so scary. That might be like one of my favorite scenes. That's one that I remember.
And then, because it'll cut out to like they'll cut, because I was telling Lewis, I was like, this movie's just like The Matrix, right?
It's like, exactly like The Matrix.
And the guy, like the main bad guy, is like he's like the guy from Matrix 2.
Yeah.
I thought his name, the architect, right? Yeah, exactly like the architect, because it'll pan out to him, and he's giving him the lines, watching it, and then like they'll do the lines, and then people will be like, oh my god, Wow. And their studios in the moon. Like I
Yeah,
thought that was so dope.
that is a cool idea.
Oh my god, man! Like start to finish, those
Hmm.
I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was such a banger, man. Incredible.
Context that might make it even cooler. The guy who is like in the director guy or whatever, the old guy. I don't know the actor's name, but that actor, you know the show Westworld? Did Lewis tell you about this? Like the show Westworld?
No.
Westworld is an HBO show about a cowboy. Like everybody is a robot. Everybody is like genuinely like an AI constructed robot, but they're very lifelike and they're so real that they like are practically human. But they don't
Mm.
explicitly. It's not like Pluto, where it's like, no, they do have a conscious. Like, no, they are programmed to be like a specific character that only exists within this like pocket of time, like this one day, and it just repeats. And then people go on vacation to this Westworld's like land that they created, and because none of these people are real, but they feel like people, you can do whatever you want. You can kill them, you can rape them, you can do whatever you want, and it's fine. Like, and that's a thing. And the old guy who the Westworld is the same thing. It's like a director, it's got a bunch of people in a chair like, this is my written story, this is the narrative of this character, and you have to go over here and get it's like Red Dead but like IRL, and like they're talking about it. And the old guy plays a super try-hard character that plays the Westworld game. So he just has a ton of money, and he lives there basically. And he's like, I gotta find the ultimate Easter egg. And then he like cuts like the scalp off one of them, and he's like, a map. And it's like, oh my god. So he's such a cool character in that show, and it's so interesting that he's like the guy in this. Yeah, fun show for at least the first season.
Oh yeah, that tends to be the norm, right?
Yeah, sadly. Yeah. Great concept though. The director guy of that one is Anthony Hopkins. And the ending, can I just tell you the ending of the first season? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The ending of season 1 is Anthony Hopkins guy getting killed by like the AI like robot people that are like turning more human like as the season goes on. And it was so fire. It was actually like gas as fuck. It was really cool, like the way they did it. And then like the only person that's equipped to survive is like, you know, elite cowboy guy that's been playing the game for 10 years. Shit's so cool. Oh, awesome. But go ahead.
That sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word? Nah, but yeah, this movie, I think my favorite scene was when he's about to leave. I have two. Like when the guy says, he's like, cue the sun. And the sun comes. I thought that was hilarious. He's about to get out, and then like the ray of sunshine, and like it's like God is talking to him.
Yeah.
He's like, me and my brother watched it. We were rolling like the final like card was God was like talking to you. Like it's so insane because like just like I said before, I just imagine being put in his shoes, and it's like all this shit's happening, and then God is talking to me like directly.
Yeah.
Should I really go outside? Right. But yeah. Even like when he was in one of the buildings, and then like he opened the door, or he opened the elevator, and then he saw like cast members in the back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like, and then like they closed it quick, and then fucking this one more. Oh, the scene when he's like with his wife, and he's like bugging out.
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't he like grab the knife? And he's like, tell me the truth. She's like, I can't work under these conditions. It's not a good work-life balance.
And he's like, you can't work?
Yeah.
His friend comes in. But then like even before that, when he gets in the car with her, and she's like, Truman, let's go home. And he's like, Like his full deranged mode is so funny.
I love when he tries
And
to
he's,
leave the zone
yeah,
they come up with like bullshit each time. And he's like, "All right, nigga, well I'll walk through the radiation. I don't care."
and you know, when he's in the car and he's like, at first he's talking to him, he's like, you see this girl right here? You see this girl? She's walked around the block like 5 times.
Yeah.
Watch, she's gonna come back right now. And then, and he's like, he grabs the wheel. He's like, let's go to Fiji.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and then he's going, and then like they create like artificial traffic, and he's like, isn't that just a coincidence?
Yeah.
And bro, and then that's when he drives to like the radiation place.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's so funny, and I watched it like a while ago, but. One of my favorite scenes when he goes to get like his passport to go to Fiji. On the walls of the passport room is like it shows a plane getting struck by lightning, and it's like this could be you. So,
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like I was laughing so much.
That's
like
good.
this is like the best like comedy movie to me. And I don't even know if it's like a comedy movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, it was so funny.
Yeah. A lot of good jokes.
Yeah.
It made me very upset that these characters would even comprehend like doing this to somebody, doing this to like a human being. That made me like very sad. Like with his friend, like when his friend said that, I was like, I will kill you. I hope this character kills you at the end of the movie, because that's crazy. That's crazy. Like that's so like irredeemable. Like you cannot be forgiven. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then he gets on a boat to go out to get out, and then I remember when they found out he's on a boat.
Everyone's watching.
They go to the bus driver actor. And he's like, "Yo, go get him." He's like, "I just drive a bus. I don't know how to drive a bus."
Yeah, that was good.
And that's they hit Truman with all the waves.
Yeah.
And they try to like kill him. And the architect guy, the people with the architect, are like, "Yo, this is live. Don't kill him." And he's like, "Do it, do it."
Yeah.
He didn't he survives. Then I love the scene when he gets to like the end and like he's like touching the wall, and like I know I said this a bunch, but just imagine if that was like you. You know what I mean? Like all this shit going on, and you like,
yeah,
you touch the wall, and like it's like everything you thought was true, and then then he gets out, and it's interesting how like he's gonna live.
Yeah.
Like after, because he's like the most famous motherfucker in the world.
Yeah.
Like everyone's watching the show, and he's in for a rude awakening when he gets out there. But he's like Aaron, man. He's fighting for that freedom.
Yeah.
You know. So it's very interesting to just. Cause I like how they don't show like anything of like the real world. It kind of just up to here. You can kind of just think about it.
They show like people watching the show.
Yeah.
They show a lot of people just enjoying it. And if I were in his shoes, I would be like Aaron. I'd be very mad that like everyone was like, just watching this happen to me. I would be absolutely pissed. Imagine if it was Attack on Titan, but it's just you. Like everyone else is in on the joke, but not you. That would make me so sad. He handled it very well by the end of the movie. He was like, "Goodbye, I'm gonna go."
Yeah. If you've seen this, good morning, good evening, good night.
Yeah.
That was a nice little fuck you to the guy, to God.
Yeah.
That's fire. And the girl that like was kind of telling him, and like he was running to go pick him up.
Yeah.
So at least
I loved all the scenes with her, where it's like, "Let's go get pizza now." Oh, so cool.
She was like, they're gonna see us. They're gonna come get us.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? What?
Have you ever thought that when you were a kid? Like when you were in school, like this is all a plan?
Yeah, I feel like everyone has to think that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so. It's so funny to think about. I remember watching a movie. I look at my brother like,
yeah. Man.
nah. But honestly, I love this movie,
Awesome.
and I would recommend it to like anyone. It's such a recommendable movie. Honestly, for rating,
Go ahead. My big question is, how do you feel about it compared to Matrix, since it's a similar movie or like similar message and idea?
to be honest,
You don't think about Matrix when you watch it?
no, I do. I was telling my boy or my brother. I was like, yo, this is Matrix right here,
Mhm.
like real.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like this more than the Matrix. Even though like the Matrix is like, the Matrix is like super deep and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This one's just so funny,
Yeah.
and you can like relate to this one more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, like just putting me thinking about this movie to me is like more interesting than the Matrix. But the Matrix is super interesting,
Yeah.
just because this one's just more like real, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't take away from the Matrix.
Yeah.
But honestly, I do like this more than the Matrix.
Nice. It's gonna
If
get
this
some double digits.
this man,
I'll give it time. 9.
this 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Yay. Great. Awesome. A
This
rare
is
double
like the
digit.
best. This is the best short movie, like ever, dude. For me.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I love this shit, man. Good
Dope.
movie.
Cool. Cool. I watched that one very recently too. I think I watched that like 2 months ago or like 3 months ago or something. So that's dope.
I think this and Synecdoche were the best movies I watched last year.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Bangers, man.
Yeah, it is like Synecdoche kind of. It's like similar. He's in a show. Synecdoche's like Synecdoche is about like the guy making his own reality his show.
Yeah.
Which is even scarier.
Synecdoche is a whole different
Beast.
monster. That's a beast of a movie right there.
Yeah.
Literally.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it for me, man.
That's it for you. All right. Did you watch Belladonna? It's okay if you didn't.
I did.
You did? Okay. So I will do my stuff and then we shall get into that. I watched a lot of things since our last talk, but I will focus on the highlights. Have you seen? I'll focus on the highlights. I won't mention things that don't matter. I watched Andor. I finished Andor. I don't remember. Well, last episode, people didn't see the last episode, so even if I did talk about it, I have to talk about it now. Andor is good. Andor is very, very good. It's just great. I don't know. It doesn't feel like Star Wars, and it's simultaneously peak Star Wars because of it. Have you been seeing any clips or like anybody like talking about it or anything? No. It's I'm trying to compare it to something that we've seen, but it's basically like the quality of like early Game of Thrones in Star Wars. And you might think like, oh, the Andor show is like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 on everyone's list. So that means Andor is like the best character in Star Wars, right? Andor himself is actually not in the show that much because it's about so many other people. And it's a lot of talking. But the talking is so tense. And it's so like people are fighting the Empire in like, corporate ways that are like you actually can follow it. It's not too complicated to where like it's hard to like grasp. But the writing is just so good. It's just so awesome. And like there was literally like a part where like I haven't done this in a while. I did have like a Steins Gate punching my pillow, not because of something that happened in the show, but because like a piece of dialogue was so good and they said something at the beginning and then like after 5 minutes they said the same line but it was reincorporated differently, and I was like, yo, that was fucking amazing. That was an amazing conversation. And I literally was just punching my pillow. I'm like, this is so good. And I was so happy. And there's so many great parts, man. When I watch this show, it makes me realize like, man, if I ever want to make something, like I actually have to learn how to write because I really don't know how to do that. Like that is so hard to like actually execute. And this is the first Star Wars thing, even more so than the movies. Even like the OG movies where I'm like, okay, I actually get like why people hate the Empire now. But like obviously this feels so different that you can't even apply it to like any of the movies, even if it's like the same shit. It just feels so different that it like might as well be considered like something else, honestly. And it's like, wow, I actually hate the Empire as much as like I should have like this whole time, What really sold me on this was when Cosmonaut was talking about. Cosmonaut was like, you know what? Yeah, kill them all. Kill these guys. I was like, okay. So I watched it and I'm like, yeah, they need to fucking murder these people. It's so cool. It's so cool. And it's like, I don't know. It's about like rising up against like an oppressing like, government, which is like, I don't know, something that we can relate to like a lot. So there's a part where a dude takes like an urn of ashes and like hits a police officer like with the ashes and it like combusts like all over him, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so raw. I'm like, that's so fucking cool. It was so dope. And it's just great. And the best part about it is that when it ended, it was like it didn't even really end. It kind of like just was like, okay, we don't have time to like keep going. We have to like do the rest in season 2. And I'm like, you know what? Like the show is good enough that I don't need a cliffhanger. I don't need it to have like an explicit ending. Like that's so good that like you're just like, we'll continue it later. We don't have time to finish this now. Our ambitions are bigger than just one season. And I'm like, yes, let's go. So quality show. And I think that every single show should be embarrassed like after Andor. Honestly, like those other Star Wars shows and those other Marvel shows are genuine garbage. I'm surprised that Disney allowed this to be made because it's almost like an admittance of guilt. Like, yeah, everything else is ass, but they're still making the other stuff. So I don't know. It's crazy that like this is like the one good show right now out of like all the shows, even like The Boys. And Andor is so good that like this isn't like I don't know, Boys season 1 was good, but this is it. I really trust. This is like Attack on Titan like level trust. Like they will not fumble. It is like I trust that they have the foresight and they know where this story is going to go. Or at least, I don't know, they can make it up as they go along like pretty well. To where it'll be fine, and it won't like go in the direction of like The Boys or like falter in quality. It's one of those things where I can't give it a 10 right now because it genuinely, it's like Attack on Titan. It's not over. If it fumbles, then it does go down a little bit, but right now it's like a good 8, like an 8 edging on a 9. I want to give it like a higher score, but I have to wait until I see the rest because there's so much that hasn't happened yet. There's a character in this show who is he's like top 10 characters like of all time. There's like one character that's like really good. At least top 10 characters in a show, like in an American live action show, which I don't watch many of. And everybody's talking about this one speech that he gives at the end, which is like such a fire speech. It's so cool. Great. I love when there's like a good speech in a movie and then I just watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
Fucking what's his face? Alfred in Batman, Andy Samberg or Andy Serkis. Not Andy Samberg, the fucking comedian, The Lonely Island. Andy Serkis is in it and he has a speech and his speech is great. Yeah. I have like some small criticisms, but those can be like expunged depending on like, you know, if the rest of it's like goated. Just like in the experience of watching one season, the second half, there's something really big that happens in the second half and I'm like, that's something that would usually take like a whole season, but you did it in like 3 episodes. But they give a good reason why, but still it was kind of like but it was dope regardless. And you have to watch it at some point. It's mandatory. Honestly, it's not even Star Wars. It's like it truly, like in the beginning when I saw Stormtroopers, like I was like, get the fuck out of this show. Like I don't want to even see you. But then by the end I'm like, fuck these guys, kill them all. It'll be cool. And it's so cool because like Emperor Palpatine is like this big bad. He's like the big evil guy, you know, that's like ruling all of this. And it's so cool because you never see him. And he's mentioned maybe like 3 times. And whenever he's mentioned, it's like, it's so scary to think that like the whole galaxy's conflicts and all of these problems are because he's that evil. And that's so cool.
Yeah. So is this like in the same timeline of like what movie?
So Andor, Cassian Andor is a character in Rogue One, and Rogue One is about how they get the Death Star plans to Princess Leia in the beginning of episode 4. That's what that movie is about. And this show, I guess, is just like a prequel to that, telling you how Cassian Andor got to that point. But no one really liked that movie, or no one really gives a fuck about the characters in that movie. So when they were like, we're making a Cassian Andor show, niggas are like, I'm not going to watch that. Why the fuck would I watch that? So the show has to be goated if you're going to watch it. And it is. And Andor isn't even the best character in the show. So the goal is to not have this be like, oh, well, it's connected to that. Oh, it's connected to that. It doesn't matter like what it's connected to. It really doesn't, you know? I actually would recommend this to people that don't like Star Wars. I'm like, if you hate Star Wars, this is the show that you should watch, because this is not Star Wars, but now like Star Wars is good. Yeah, I feel like I've talked a lot about it, but I think it's great, and I think you should watch it. It's got great acting. I would honestly recommend, like, don't even watch the movie. Like, you don't have to. Don't even watch Rogue One. It's not necessary. Right. Even Rogue One doesn't feel the same as this. Even Rogue One isn't like this. And who knows? Maybe by the time the show's over, Rogue One is going to be like go up a point because the show's so good, and it'll make you like Rogue One. But that's the thing. In Rogue One, Andor isn't even the main character in Rogue One. It's like a different girl, you know? So I don't know. The movies are trash. I cannot I need to stop talking about this, but I cannot exaggerate how embarrassing the rest of it is when this show is so good. Like the Obi-Wan show is an insult to like people that pay for Disney Plus. It really is. I was embarrassed that I paid for Disney Plus and I watched like 3 of the shows. Like after watching this, I'm like, wow. Like, what the fuck was I supporting before? This is like embarrassing. But yeah, Andor is an 8 right now. I know that's not like super high, but it's like Attack on Titan. Gotta wait till it's over. And that's Andor.
Right.
That's cutting myself off. Gotta stop that. But great show. Loved it. Then I watched. Have you seen the movie Pain and Gain? It has Dwayne Johnson and Mark Wahlberg, and it's directed by Michael Bay. And a lot of people are like, this is the one good Michael Bay movie because he's like the Transformers guy. And say what you want about Transformers, but at least when I watch those movies, the action in those movies is unmatched. It really is. They don't do it like Michael Bay. They really don't. That man's got his finger on the pulse, and he really has a style. And when I watch other movies, I'm like, at least there's action in this Michael Bay movie. So Pain and Gain, I remember I watched it when I was younger, and I remember seeing it on TV and being like, wow, like that was actually like really good, even though it had Dwayne Johnson and Mark Wahlberg, two people who are not like, I wouldn't consider great actors. And it's about these people in LA who are like gym bros, and they're like, damn, bro, I'm out here getting pumped in the gym, but I'm not making any bread. And like, I still don't get bitches in spite of like being buff. And then they decide to like pull some scam, like Wolf of Wall Street type shit. And then they're not like in the stock market. They're not doing stock related things, but they are doing like scammy Wolf of Wall Street type stuff. And then they just get their bag, and it's a Michael Bay movie in Hollywood. And something about big production Michael Bay movies, they go to big houses, they go to beaches. There's always hot girls. It's like, I don't know. There's just something about that makes me like, ooh, I'm seeing a big house. I haven't been in a big house before. And it just makes me happy. And that's that element of it is just nice. But yeah, it's just fun because it feels like a Michael Bay like action movie of these guys doing all these scams and stuff. And this is based on a true story. It's exaggerated a little bit, but they tried to kill a guy, and it's very funny. It's extremely funny. Even, I don't want to say even funnier, but the true story is funnier than the Wolf of Wall Street story. Like, this story's sad, but this movie is like primarily trying to make fun of it because it's just so stupid. Like, they tried to kill a guy, and they accidentally didn't kill him, and then it like causes them like a bunch of problems, and it's so funny. And there's parts where Dwayne Johnson is like running around high on cocaine, like, and the cops are literally shooting him like in the street, glass is breaking. And it's just a hectic, fun time. And then by the hour mark, I'm like, dude, I don't really think there's anything wrong with this. I think this is like a good movie, and like it fits Michael Bay's like style. Like this story about like people that just want bitches and just want money, and you know, his like quippy humor where he like has some crude joke in there. It actually makes sense for like this instead of it like being in an action movie like Transformers, you know. And this is not long. This movie is also really short, and it's a fun time. You will have fun watching this movie. If you want to see like a good bit of action, like a good kind of message, and you want to see like good jokes, you'll actually like this. This is like the one movie where I think Dwayne Johnson is kind of good. Dwayne Johnson is a big muscle bound guy, but he's like, I'm a devout Christian now, and I'm only a good person. So whenever Mark Wahlberg and them are doing illegal things, Dwayne Johnson's like, God wouldn't like that. You wouldn't, God, don't do that. And it's funny. Yeah, good movie. Honestly,
Yeah.
Good movie. Pain and Gain. I would give it a genuine 7 out of 10. Then, skipping the boring shit. Have you ever heard of the movie Hancock with Will Smith?
Thanks.
Will Smith is like a superhero. It was like The Boys before The Boys. He's like drunk, and he's a superhero, but he's not respected by the city. In the beginning of the movie, he like has sex with someone, and he like because he's a superhero, his like cum is like projectile cum that like breaks through a wall. And I'm pretty sure that's like, I don't know, that's like something you'd see in The Boys, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, definitely. And this came out way before The Boys in like 2008. It's a terrible movie. It's a 1 out of 10. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But it's very interesting that that concept was used before The Boys. So that was cool. I watched a lot of an anime. I didn't finish it, but I watched a lot of it, and then I dropped it. I watched Durarara. Have you ever seen Durarara? Do you know what that is? Yeah. Watch the first 50
More.
episodes. I understand why people like it. It has a style. It's very unique. Have you seen Bakano?
Yeah.
It's made by the same people who do Bakano. And
Mhm.
the two main characters from Bakano actually pop up at one point. I don't know how that works because Durarara takes place in like modern times. So that's interesting. But anyways, yeah, I watched it and I'm like, it's cool that there are like fucking 15 characters and there's like a bunch of stories happening at the same time. I don't know if that's what Bakano was like, but in Durarara, it kind of felt like there wasn't enough focus to like really hold my attention enough at any given point. And then I just kind of was like, I don't know if I really want to watch this anymore. I got 15 episodes in because I was watching it with a friend, and I have a friend that really likes it. And I was watching it with them, and then I just kind of told them, like, I think I'm done. Like, I don't think I actually want to watch this anymore. I gave it, like, the strongest chance I possibly could. I don't hate it. I'd give it, like, a 5. But it has basic... I don't want to say it has basic characters. I don't know how to explain it, but the type of writing that it is, it's focused on other things besides the things that I want to see. It's not exactly like hinging on great writing. It's kind of hinging on this premise of like, well, all these stories are happening at the same time and they're all going to converge eventually. Isn't that cool? And it is, but it's not cool enough to last me 20 plus episodes and have like everything be kind of not mid, but like okay within that, you know?
Yeah.
There are some really good characters and there are some really good parts, but they're so spread far and few between. And there are some like just straight up like terrible episodes. Like there are episodes where like they just have nothing to do and they like, it's clearly like a padded like episode where like nothing's happening. So 5 out of 10. I'm never going to finish it, but I'm glad I watched what I watched. Like I didn't regret the time that I spent with the show. So yeah. Then I watched. Have you ever seen? Go
Real
ahead.
quick, that show's 60 episodes, right?
60? It has 2 seasons, so I don't know how long the second season is, but season 1 is just like 24 or something, or 26.
I'm sure that show's long as hell.
Yeah, I was not gonna watch season 2. Like when my friend told me there was a second season, I was like, no, no. Maybe I'll like get through season 1, and I couldn't even do that. So, yeah, I think they came out like far away from each other, but 5 out of 10. All I got to say about that. Then
Yeah, the second season is 36 episodes.
hell to the no, hell to the no.
When you brought up Durrell, I was like, crazy that you would watch that one.
I only watched it because my friend liked it, and they were like, "I would like to watch this show with you," and I was like, "Okay." But yeah, so that's something I do a lot. I watch like movies with my friend on Discord if she wants to watch, I don't know, a movie that I want to watch or something. But in terms of my own show, I've been on a show grind, Manny. I've been on a fucking show grind. I watched the first season of Twin Peaks, the show that David Lynch made. Did I say that last time? I might have said that last time. I don't remember.
I think you brought it.
I probably brought it up. Maybe I started it. But I actually finished the first season, and it's cool to watch a David Lynch vibey show with real characters with like a real story that like makes sense. And you have to kind of prime yourself because the David Lynch like weirdo shit is cranked way down. Like it's still there, but because it's a show, they do kind of explain each thing. Like whenever like there's a weird scene that like is kind of like the crazy shit that happens at the end of Mulholland Drive, this character like explicitly is like, this is a vision or this is a dream, and this means something like explicitly vague. and it still like has that layer of like creepiness like in the show, because like there's a lot of like questionable, like possibly supernatural stuff happening. But after a whole season, I was like, you know what? This mystery, like so far, the story and the themes and what I think this is building to and trying to say is like a longer, stretched out version of Mulholland Drive. And as the season has gone on, I really like the characters and I really like the writing, but I felt like not enough was really happening in the show to make me want to continue it, kind of feeling like I knew where it was going to go. By the end of season 1, it's like a murder happens. It's like this small town, and then like somebody, like a girl gets like killed, and nobody knows like how or why. And as they piece things together, it gets really scary and really cool, but it just doesn't really move that much forward in 8-hour-long episodes. And I was like, damn, bro, I've been sitting here for a long time, and I think I just kind of gave up. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to sit through the rest of it, which sucks because I want to watch the movie, which everyone's like, oh, the movie's good. And I'm like, I don't even know if I care anymore. I feel like I watched the first season. I didn't hate it, but definitely not something I'm enthusiastic to like continue. So I think I'm going to stop there, and I think I'd give it like a 7. It was good. And I want to say like the writing still felt like Mulholland Drive. It still felt like the way they talk was like in Mulholland Drive. It's just like they actually had character motivations, and like, you know, I don't know, their sentences did make a little bit more sense, but like, oh, there's some fire shit in the show. There's honestly some like really good stuff. The main character, the FBI agent, is like, he's a great character. He's an amazing S-tier protagonist. I love him. I love him a lot. Good guy. But yeah. Yeah. Good show. Twin Peaks. 7 out of 10. I didn't rate that. But
so how many episodes did you watch of that?
I watched 8, and then the second season had like 20. And I was like,
oh
yeah, that's why I didn't. It's not like the second season had the same as the first one. That's why I was like, fuck. And then there's Twin Peaks: The Return, which is like a show that they made in like 2017 or 2018, and that has like 2 or 3 seasons. And I think that is like made by David Lynch, and it's canon. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to watch that. I don't really know if I care enough to like do that. I just wanted to watch the movie. That's all I wanted to do. And apparently the movie is a prequel, and there's people that are like, you're not supposed to watch the movie before the show. I might just do it, honestly, though. I honestly might. I don't care. But dude, this show got under my skin sometimes, just like Mulholland Drive. There were parts where I was like, yeah. So it's worth it if you can find the time for it. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I watched a lot of shit, so it's gonna be a little while. I got a couple more.
I was a long time too. So.
All right. Have you seen the movie with this poster? Have you seen this poster? Wanted?
No.
Okay. This is a movie that I saw the poster of so many times when I was a kid. Here's something else I'll show you. Have you seen this meme? Have you seen this meme of James McAvoy sweating?
No.
He's like, you can't really see it with like the thing that I'm using, but he has like a piece of paper and he's like, and he's like sweating. And people, I don't know, people are like, right after I beat Elden Ring, like, sweating. And
Right.
I've seen that meme everywhere, and I've seen that poster everywhere. And I watched this movie because I'm like, because I went to a thrift store that had like Blu-rays that you could buy for like $1, like less than like $3. I was like, yo, this is cool. So I bought this movie. And recently, something I've been doing on like one of my multiple YouTube channels that I don't fucking do anything on. I got like tendonitis recently in my fingers because I was editing too much. So I can't really do the things that I usually do in my daytime. So I've been just watching movies, and I've been recording myself watching the movies, and I have like a timer on screen so that people can like sync up if they want to watch a movie with me. YMS has been doing it, and I was like, that's cool. I want to do that too. So hold on. Yeah. So I was doing that, and this was one of the movies I did it with. And if you ever watch like a 1 out of 10 movie and you can talk over the movie, oh my God, it's so fun. It's so fun to just like rash the movie and stuff. And Manny,
Yeah.
this is one of the most bizarre, wacky, insane like movies I've seen. It's like very clearly trying to capitalize off the Matrix, but it low-key feels like, no, I don't know if I should say this. It low-key feels like I don't like to endorse the people that go as far as to call things like this is for incels and stuff, like, because people like to throw that word around like a lot very passively. This kind of feels like that. It feels like it's made like by people who get no pussy or something like that. I don't know. It screams like I want to be cool, but I'm not. And now it's my time to be cool. It's kind of like the Matrix, like you're the one, dude. It's you. And the gimmick of this movie, like in the Matrix, they have like slow-mo and like, you know, in this one they have bullets that curve, and it looks so stupid every time they do it. They like fling their gun and they're like, yeah, pew, and then the bullet like makes no sense. It just like goes like wherever it wants to, and it's funny as fuck every single time. And when there's a fight scene, like the idea is dumb, but when the movie commits to it, it actually, there are some movies that have like just very boring scenes, boring fights that like clearly don't have any thought put into them and are like not really, they tried with the gun thing. They really did. And it was kind of cool sometimes. Like it was one time where like James McAvoy is fucking like sprinting down the room and he's just like curve bulleting everywhere. And I'm like, damn, this kind of looks like Devil May Cry. Okay, like this is fun. So there were some decent parts, and there's one part where like somebody gets sniped in the head, and then like it shows like where the bullet came from, and it like the camera like flings across the city, like all the way like past like 7 neighborhoods. And it's like nigga with a long ass sniper, like boom. So it's got some fun, like stupid shit like that. And it's got a lot more ironically enjoyable stuff. And I recorded my reaction to it, and I was laughing my ass off. And then the recording, the same thing that happened when we were recording the call that fucked up our call last time, happened on that one, and it ruined my day, and I was so upset because it was so funny, the recording, but I can't let this movie go unmentioned because it's just crazy. Common is in it. When I saw Common, I'm like, Common, and then he dies very unceremoniously. Not much to say. I just thought it was very funny, and I think that it's a fascinatingly bad movie that should be, it should honestly be studied. Like some movies like that, I'm like, people should like sit down and study like what people liked about this and what people didn't like about this, and like why this even got made in the first place. Just something like that. Then I watched Romeo Must Die. That movie was a 2 out of 10, by the way. But then I watched a movie called Romeo Must Die, with Jet Li and Aaliyah, like the musical artist Aaliyah. Have you heard of this movie? It is just a Jet Li action movie about, it's like it's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet, and you know how Romeo and Juliet is like their families are like warring against each other or whatever, like fighting. So in this, the black people in LA are one family, and then the Asian people are the other family. And Jet Li is Romeo, and Aaliyah is Juliet. Aaliyah, the musical artist, is Juliet. This is a nostalgic movie that like came out in that Fast and Furious like early 2000s era, and I'm like, I want some nostalgia. DMX is in the movie. I was like, oh shit. I reacted. I was like, DMX, he's in the movie. Jet Li does some fight scenes. Aaliyah is in it. And it was a good, like, ironic, like, you know, look back to like the early 2000s. There are some songs, you listen to the songs. Destiny's Child did a song on the soundtrack, and I'm like, while watching, I'm like, is that Beyonce? Is that Beyonce? And then, you know, in Scott Pilgrim, when like he's like, I can't hit a girl, and then Ramona Flowers like has to like hold his hands to like punch the girl. There's a part like that in this movie where Jet Li, he's like beating everybody up, and then he has to fight a girl. He's like, I can't hit a girl. And then Aaliyah, like they hold hands with Aaliyah, and she does like combo attacks. And I'm like, oh my God, it's just like Scott Pilgrim. There's a part where they go to the club, and Aaliyah.
I might have seen that scene before.
You might have. I think it's just cool. Honestly, this movie was not like that bad. It could have been so much worse. I was expecting it to be so much worse, but Aaliyah was like not that bad. And when her and Jet Li talked, like, I don't know, I felt the sparks there. Maybe just because Aaliyah is very attractive and she's like got that sauce. But yeah, like it actually was like decent, and I did care up until like the last 30 minutes where it just kind of lost me and I like kind of lost interest. But some fight scenes, some black people being racist towards Asian people. Destiny's Child is in the background. DMX gets shot in the movie. And Aaliyah is there. And this is like right before she passed away, which is like kind of why this movie is like retroactively popular. And I haven't seen that many Jet Li movies, honestly. So that was nice to see. Because Jet Li was like my Jackie Chan growing up. But he didn't like do that much, and I didn't see that many movies with him. So that was like one where he actually was doing the fighting. That was really cool. Yeah. I like black culture movies. But it's a black culture movie with Jet Li, who is explicitly not black. So it's very interesting. Very fascinating time capsule. Yeah. Some genuinely like good fight scenes. There are some like actually like, wow, that was like a great fight like in that movie. If you ever want to look those up. 4 out of 10. Interesting movie. Then this one is fascinating. I watched a movie called Baraka, which was a movie with no dialogue, no words, no story. Let me just read the description of this movie. A collection of expertly photographed scenes of human life and religion. And I think it was like 24 different countries, like 6 continents or something, just all around the world, different cultures. And it was just that. It was just like videos of, you know, people, like tribes that like don't wear any clothes and like run around in like body paint and stuff. But it's in like super high quality, like HD. You get to like see it for real. You get to see like monks like in waterfalls like praying and stuff. And the story of this movie, even though there's no words and there's no dialogue, is how that stuff contrasts with our worlds in America or in like cities and stuff. So they'll show you like these people, these indigenous tribes enjoying themselves, and then they'll show you just like normal images of the city. You're not seeing anything illegal or anything like any crime. You're just seeing like these tall ass buildings encompassing like going beyond the clouds compared to like the mountains that you saw like, you know, 10 minutes ago, and you're just like, damn, oh my God. And then you see like, you know, have you ever seen the train shit in Japan where like people are like squished on the train and like they're trying to like push them into the train, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And they would like show that in contrast with like animal, like little chickens like in a factory, and they would show like the chickens in a factory like all clumped together, and then they show like the people all clumped together in like the trucks, and it doesn't say anything. It's just like, it's very explicitly like you interpret what you want to interpret, and that's fun. And I was like, I explicitly told myself I'm in the mood, because I watched some straight garbage, Manny, for like 3 days, and I was like, I'm ready for like the most try hard movie ever. And that's what I got. And I sat through it and I was like, I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time. And I finished it and I was like, wow, I actually felt like that was like a great experience. There was one time in the movie where they went into this like castle or this I don't know, this like this building that's obviously not in America. And it was like the inside was like made of diamonds. And like every wall had like diamonds or gold on it. And I was like, this is the most beautiful thing ever. I need to travel. Like I need to be able to see things like this in person.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like I had a bigger appreciation for the world by the end of that movie. And it kind of reminded me of like how weird the life that we live compared to other people. And yeah, it just kind of made me think a lot more about that. And shit was cool. It was a cool ass movie. And it had good music throughout. That was like a genuine 7 out of 10. I was like, I enjoyed it. And it was in 1992 and it looked incredible. It actually looked like great. Yeah. So I watched that. Then, I don't want to talk about this one too long. But I watched a movie called Stray Dog, Kerberos Panzer Cops, directed by Mamoru Oshii, Ghost in a Shell boy. And he does a lot of weirdo live action movies. This is a live action movie that takes place in the same universe as Jinro. And it's about, you know how Jinro is about like, I'm a wolf and, in the thing. This is basically Jinro if it took place like after the police force was like disbanded and they were like, all right, you guys got to be done. No more being police. And they're like, what the fuck? Like you trained us to be monsters, like these like military machines. Now I'm just a stray dog. And it's another slow movie, but it's a really good, like slow. It's very similar to Jinro. There's a lot of things happen in it that are exactly like Jinro. There's like a girl that he likes and that like, makes him feel more human and stuff. And then a lot of the things that happen in Jinro like happen in this. Don't want to focus on that too much. It was very slow and it was very repetitive, but every single thing that they did, I was like, wow, that was a really well executed scene. You're just saying the same thing that you said the last scene and I'm getting kind of bored, but I will acknowledge that was a very good scene. And like this part was good and that part was good. And the music in this movie is incredible. It's like the same guy who did the music for Ghost in a Shell, and the music in this movie like carried. I was like, wow. Like, because it's a very quiet movie. There's not a lot of talking in it. And it's also one of those movies that's made on such a low budget that makes me be like, dude, I could make this fucking movie. Like, if I really tried, like, I could make a movie like this. Like, this is so cool. But I did like it by the end because it was so similar to Jinro. So I'd give it a 5, and I gave Jinro a 7, but I did like the movie, and, I wouldn't be opposed to watching it again. So it's one of those things where it's on YouTube for free if you like want to watch it. Just because it's like an old like weirdo movie that nobody would watch. But then I watched a fucking incredible movie that I was tempted to tell you to watch, but I was like, nah, like this might be asking too much. It's called Benny's Video, and this is directed by Michael Haneke, or I think it's pronounced Michelle Haneke. And YMS has only spoken positively of this guy. I think YMS said that this is his favorite director. Like his favorite movie is Synecdoche, and he likes Charlie Kaufman. But he's like, this guy is my favorite director specifically. And I was like, okay. So I just picked this random movie called Benny's Video, about a 14-year-old kid who. I'm trying to see how much I should say. The movie starts with a video, like a real video of like a pig getting killed. Like that's how the movie starts. And it shows that this kid is like watching this video. And the movie is very slow and very meditative, but there is a story and there are things that happen in it, but it's about the effects of something like that. Like seeing something at the age of like 14, like and how that would affect you like in your life.
Mhm.
But there is like a conflict and a thing that happens like in the movie. So it's not just like slow, nothing's happening like nonsense. And I have a lot to say about it. Oh, I was watching it and I was like, there were many times where I'm like, even though I didn't finish Lane, I was like, this is just like Lane. This is just like Lane.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know. I only watched like 3 episodes of Lane, but from what I got from just the little bit I saw, I'm like, oh, this is about the effects of like the internet and like social media and like what that's going to do to society and to like individuals. And that's what this movie is. This movie is like, even though I didn't finish Lane and I don't know the full picture of that thing, I was like, this feels like a condensed Lane. This feels like it's saying everything that Lane wanted to say in like, an hour and a half. And I was very satisfied with it. This is a slow movie that I was not bored by because I feel like the conflict is crazy enough to be something to be invested in the whole time. And I love what the movie says without even saying a lot of words. I will watch Lane or you will watch this, and we'll talk about it either way. Benny's video, and apparently this is part of a trilogy of movies that aren't. They call them a trilogy, but they don't they're not connected in any way. So maybe thematically they are, but fucking 8 out of 10. I was very moved by this movie. I recorded my reaction to this too, and genuinely, like, when I got to a part in the movie, like, I was shook. I was like, I like rewatched my own reaction. I'm like, damn, that's what I looked like when I saw that. Shit was crazy. And honestly, like, I don't know, just seeing like shit like a pig like get killed for real in like a movie, I respect that. Nobody has the balls to do that. Yeah, it's on HBO Max if you want to watch it. It's on YouTube for free. Someone just uploaded it to YouTube. With old movies like this that are not very popular, they can get away with that. So if you want to watch it, you can do that. And if you want to watch it with my thing in the background to like, I think watching it with like a commentary track makes it easier to watch if like you're bored or something. So that, like, when I get bored, like, I just start talking and it just makes things easier to like pay attention to. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Great movie. I know I went on for a while. Very good. All right. I think the recording's good. I think we're okay. I don't think anything bad is happening. Then I watched The Boondock Saints. Have you ever heard of the movie The Boondock Saints, Manny?
I think so.
I only know about this movie because it has Boondock in the title. And when I would look up The Boondocks, our show, I would see The Boondock Saints that has no relation to the show. It has Norman Reedus from Walking Dead, and from Death Stranding, and then Willem Dafoe. And I'm like, Willem Dafoe, Norman Reedus, what can go wrong? Manny? Apparently, everything can go wrong. This is like one of the most insanely bad movies I have ever seen in my life. And I was fascinated by it. I'm like speechless, honestly. Hold on. I'm genuinely speechless by this movie. There is some truly terrible things in there. There's racism. They say the N-word, like in a racist way. There's this was made in 1999, by the way. So, but they say the N-word. It takes place in Boston. That's another thing. It takes place in Boston. I just went to Boston, and then I came back and I sat down and watched this movie. Didn't know it took place in Boston. They start showing like buildings in Boston. I was like, I was just there, bro. I was just there. It's a good feeling. And then, but yeah, they say the F slur. They say the N-word. They're offensive in like 3 other ways. And It's just a crazy, terrible movie. It's boring. It looks amateur, but it has like A-list people like Willem Dafoe. And Willem Dafoe is trying. He's putting his whole pussy into this one. And I think I'm just gonna have to spoil the ending to this movie. I was literally like losing my shit. Willem Dafoe dresses up as a woman and like has like hard like making out with like a guy, and it's like not built up to. It doesn't like really make a lot of sense. I think his character in the movie is gay, but he's also the homophobic one that says the F word. So like I was so confused by the end of it. And Willem Dafoe was dressed as a woman. And then he's like an assassin and he starts killing people dressed as a woman. It's so weird. And then there's like an anime bad guy who gets freed from prison in this relatively grounded like story about just these two kids from the boondocks that are also saints that are just hitmen and they kill like mafia people and stuff. And it's just not it's not coherent at all. Talking about it doesn't do it justice. Like you have to see it for yourself and how much of a mess it is. And then I looked it up, and apparently like 3 years later there's a documentary on this guy who directed this movie about like about the story of making the movie. You know Boogie 298, like the fat guy? You know they made like a documentary on him like recently on like how ass his life is or whatever. And he requested that the documentary be made. Like they made it with his permission. And that shit takes place like in his house, like cameras like on him and stuff. So it's like a real like thing. And this is kind of like that too, where the guy was like, yeah, I suck so bad. Like I need you to like show people how much I suck, which is very weird to like do that, you know? It kind of shows like you're so pathetic that showing people how pathetic you are is like your last option, kind of, you know? So I think that's just fascinating. And I saw some clips from the movie, and there's like clips of this dude like screaming on the phone like, yo, Swayze pulled out, bro. We literally have no one. I can't pay you. And apparently like Harvey Weinstein was like about to produce the movie, and seeing him in the clips was like crazy because this was like way before. And I'm so excited. This was a terrible movie, but like I have to bring it up because it was like astonishingly like crazy bad to a point where I'm excited to learn more about it. Yeah, and I'm talking about it too much, but the most interesting 1 out of 10 I think I've ever seen, maybe, honestly. Yeah. So yeah, there was that, and I'll watch that documentary in a little bit. Then I watched, quick mention. I'm sorry, there's so much, but I watched Transformers 3. And then I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters. And these two movies I'm talking about together because they are a very specific brand of like focus tested, people will like this and pay for it like kind of movies with military and explosions and like no real plot, but like, you know, like emotional beats to kind of like loosely bring you through the story, even though the plot like makes no sense. And there's something about those Transformers movies that I miss about that, when it was just kind of like more unapologetically just explosions and like nonsense and like stupid bullshit. Because they were good at being stupid bullshit. There's a difference between stupid bullshit and boring. Those Transformers movies are boring because they're like 3 hours long, and it's just stupid bullshit for 3 hours long. So that's why they're boring. But it's a different brand of boring that I miss. Like I could go to sleep watching a Transformers movie. I could wash dishes watching a Transformers movie. I could just have it on in the background, you know?
Right.
And I think that and I watched the newest Transformers movie, and it's like not like that at all. Like the humans won't shut the fuck up. It's all on the humans. The Transformers are in it for like maybe 20% of it. And the reason why I bring up Godzilla at the same time is because I think these Godzilla movies are like the new Transformers, like without Michael Bay. And I think that's fascinating, that they exist like in a new form now through those Godzilla movies. Because like, you know how people don't go to the movies to see like an actor necessarily? Like if you say like this one actor is in this movie, that's not gonna be like the thing that sells tickets. But I think those Godzilla movies, they do sell tickets. Because do you remember like Millie Bobby Brown was in it? And they were like, yo, Millie Bobby Brown, the Stranger Things. And I did kind of have that reaction when I saw it. And then they got the guy from Game of Thrones, and they got this other guy that you'll recognize, and they got the guy from Straight Outta Compton. So like, it's so weird. They got like over a dozen, like over maybe like up to like 20 like popular actors. And when there's that many from like all these different like little like communities that you like, you're going to be like, hey, I like that guy. I'll go see it for that guy. And I kind of know who that guy is. I'll go see it for that guy. Like, that's a good way to like, that's how you like sell movies on Stars now, you know? Just have as many as possible, like Avengers. And I was like, wow, they actually like did it. The story made no sense, but they really propped up the big monster fights, and they brought like every monster in. It's very fan servicey in that way, just like Transformers. Transformers is very fan servicey. You're supposed to get a boner every time Optimus like says something, and that's kind of what happens with Godzilla. Like you're supposed to get a boner every single time Godzilla like hits a building, and I feel like this movie kind of was more like the finger was on the pulse, and they actually did that. It's a 2 out of 10 movie, like at the end of the day, but I could have this movie on in the background while I'm washing dishes, or like, you know, something like that. And that's just fascinating. So, and that's something else I just need to articulate. Like sometimes the rating doesn't encompass my whole feelings on something, and I don't want people to put too much weight on a rating, because sometimes there's a 2 out of 10 movie that I love for like more than just like ironic reasons, maybe for some nostalgic or unique reasons like that. So I don't know. Like I really like Godzilla versus King Kong. Like that movie was cool. I'm not gonna lie. 3 out of 10. But I'll just say this, Manny. I'm sorry. I'll say this. Batman v Superman, they cannot comfortably pick a winner. Like I guess Batman kind of won, but like not really, because that fight was like so mid to me. And then Godzilla versus King Kong, they explicitly are like, Godzilla beat his ass. Godzilla beat King Kong. And I'm like, let's go. Like, that's so cool that they like explicitly are like, no, this guy won. It feels like you're watching like WWE or something, you know, where like they actually make that happen. Yeah. And that was cool. And then, so I'm going to go see these movies. I'm going to go see the Godzilla movies. They're not great, but they're good enough for me. And the cool thing about Godzilla as a franchise is that they're making like the ones in Japan, they're making the anime on Netflix, and they're making the Hollywood ones. So they feel comfortable doing all these different types of Godzilla movies at the same time, while Transformers doesn't feel comfortable doing that. Or like other brands don't feel comfortable like why don't they just have 2 Marvels like at the same time? Like 2 Marvel universes, you know? Like who cares? Or just like, why don't they just abandon like that one and just give up? Or just like be honest that like you gave up, you know? Like DC. Like DC.
DC gotta have two universes.
I know. People said that Aquaman movie was terrible. People said it was like actually like awful. Yeah, but
no surprise.
No surprise there. Yeah, but that's what I wanted to say about that. And then last thing, this is the last thing I feel like is worth mentioning. I watched a movie called Homework from an Iranian director whose name I don't think I'll be able to pronounce. Abbas Kiarostami. I literally just watched it today. And it's only 1 hour and 17 minutes. And it's about these kids in Iran in the late 1980s that just go to school. And they just go to school and they just do homework. And it's this guy like recording and being like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this movie yet, but I'm just going to record these kids talking about their homework, and I'm going to try to figure out like, you know, like why kids don't do homework, or like, you know, how that affects like them and stuff. And it was fascinating. It was kind of boring because it truly was like, for an hour, it was literally just kids like talking to the camera, being like, this is why I don't do my homework. I don't have time. My mom is busy. My mom has to do it for me. Da 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 da. And then like some kids will be like, my mom like doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to write, stuff like that. And then it got to a point where like they introduced like an adult, and like the adult like explained in great detail why parents like affect school negatively, why the school system affects kids negatively, and why like I don't know, why it's all just like bad, and like it just doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't work for the parents, it doesn't work for the kid. That's my garage. I don't know if you can hear that. It doesn't work for the parents, doesn't work for the kids, and doesn't work for like society at large. And like he said, like, you know, and this movie was in the 1988. So he's like, you know, these are the kids that are going to be growing up in the 21st century, and they don't know how to think. Like they, you know, we're not teaching them how to think, because he basically says like, you know, where, you know, we beat them with a belt when they don't get good grades at school. They beat them with like a ruler. Like, what are you teaching them? What effect is that having on them? Their motivation to learn is not to learn. Like, they're doing it because they have to. They're not doing it to like retain it or to like learn it, you know? So I thought that was, and he obviously explained it like much better and stuff. And then later on in the movie, there's like a kid who's like crying, and the guy's like, why are you crying? And he's like, I want my friend to be in here. And these are like children in like middle school. And then he's like, no, we're just going to do an interview. And he's like, I want my friend now. And his friend comes in, and the guy's like, why is he crying? It's like, because the teacher like beat him with a ruler once. And he like doesn't trust like anybody anymore. And it was like really sad. I'm paraphrasing it, but it was, that like in contrast with what the guy was saying and other things in the movie made it so like painful, because it's just like everything's wrong. This whole system's like fucked up, and nobody's really doing anything about it, and all these kids are kind of walking out stupid. And I feel like in America it's not really that different, and I've always felt that way, and I felt like no movie or nobody like really acknowledges that. Because, like, school didn't do anything. Like, we didn't gain anything. Yes, I graduated high school. I literally like that doesn't make me more eligible for like Amazon, you know? Yeah. It's like, you know, and I think about that a lot. And I think everyone should check out this movie, or at least like the last 30 minutes of it. And then there's a part where it shows the kids like singing like their Pledge of Allegiance. And their Pledge of Allegiance is like, kill Saddam Hussein, da 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 da. I don't know. At the time, I guess that was like what they were doing. Praise Muhammad, da 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 da. And in spite of, like, our Pledge of Allegiance isn't that different, you know? Like, in God we trust, under one nation, under God, indivisible, da 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 da. Like, we just say ours, like, very, and ours is very short. But what we're saying is, in a way, just as like focused on our country and focused on like our religion that we subscribe to, just as much as theirs is. And you just see like these teachers being like, all right, kids, time to say the morning thing. And like none of the kids are paying attention, and they're all just like talking like in, you know, when they're lining up for school. And it just kind of goes to show, like, when he's just showing them like not saying the thing or like not paying attention, it kind of just highlights like all the other issues that the movie is talking about, where it's like, yeah, these, you know, this is like the next generation that you're seeing right here. You know, people that like schools trying to teach like these literal children that are not even 10 years old yet, like this stuff that doesn't even make sense to them. And then like getting mad when they don't understand it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time they are old enough to understand it, it's not even gonna matter because like now they're gonna play catch up like when they're in the 21st century. Maybe they'll never truly be able to play catch up because you've created an entire generation of people that just are just kind of dumb, honestly, towards like why anything is happening. There's so many people. I'm 23. I don't even vote, and I don't plan to. I'm 23, and I don't plan on having kids. I mean, I was thinking about this movie. The reason why I watched this is because I have a lot of friends right now who are like, man, I'm getting older. Like a lot of my female friends that are like, I think I need to have kids, or at least I need to think about that. And I'm just like, you are not ready for that, like mentally. Regardless of financials, there's so many things that you need to do mentally before you can be equipped to be a parent. And I consider most of the people that I know to not be ready to be like fathers or mothers. And this movie just kind of highlights that for the most part, like everybody has been like bad at that. And it's not even like, oh, they made a casual mistake. It's like a general lack of understanding as to like what you should do when you're parenting someone. And it just made me think about it, like kind of comfortably articulated that like everybody's kind of an idiot parent or like an idiot adult that's having a negative effect on kids. And this is like insanely terrible. And I was like, wow, that was goated. And that was what that movie was about. And yeah, I thought that was cool. I'm going to watch more movies from that guy. And that was cool. And that was like all real. Like it was not like acting. It was like, you know, real kids and stuff. And the ending was so fire. Like the kid was crying because he was like, I'm going to miss religion class because I'm doing this interview. I have to go to religion class. And the guy was like, okay, like sing one of the songs from religion class. And he starts singing the song. And then it plays like the instruments like over his singing from like the real song. And this kid that's doing this that's singing this religion song for the wrong reasons, like, you know, and like memorizing these words for like reasons that his God would not want him to memorize them for, you know? It's like, it's so antithetical to like the song itself, like that you're listening to. And it was such like a fire note to end the movie on because it's like, because the song like doesn't really apply. It applies to the situation in a horrific way. It's like, we are not really doing what God like wants us to be doing in this scenario, you know? And we're out here trying to manipulate all these kids to think this way anyways. And it's like, it's being counterintuitive and it's going to come back to bite us at the end of the day, you know? And it was a great movie that highlights the stupidness of a lot of people. And I like that. 6 out of 10. It was very boring for a lot of it, but it was only an hour and 17 minutes. So, you know, it wasn't that bad. Now I think I'm done. I think that's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot one.
Oh, tell me.
I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yes. Yes. I was considering rewatching it to see if I could equip myself to talk about it, but yeah, I love this movie. What do you have to say? Be honest.
Yeah, I was looking through my notes because when I was rating some of the movies when you was talking, I saw it. Oh shit! But yeah, I kind of had a feeling it was gonna be exactly how it was. It's very funny.
Yeah,
a lot of funny scenes with the principal. Yeah, You know what's funny? This movie, I've been hearing this movie get referenced my whole life, but I never knew it was from this movie.
There were a lot of things in this movie that I didn't know were Family Guy references. Yeah, there's some Family Guy jokes.
Yeah, just the main quote of, like, the
life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop,
that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they're doing attendance and she's like, Bueller. I have so many teachers reference that.
Really? Oh wow.
I never knew what they were talking about.
Wow.
Honestly. I was like, Bueller. I was like, who the fuck is Bueller?
That's comically hypocritical coming from a teacher. Referencing the Ferris Bueller movie while they're a teacher. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny too because
then they're gonna yell at you to do the homework, and they're gonna be like the principal.
Yeah, and then it's funny because even when I saw the title of this movie, it didn't even hit me. And then when he did the attendance, then it hit me.
Yeah,
a lot of teachers reference that shit because I bet they're all young and watch this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bet every young person at that time has seen this movie.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? This was the one for them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy how how it gets referenced a lot. But now I know.
Yeah.
You know. Now, but the movie's cool. It's very calm.
Yeah. It's very calm and it's very happy. One thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said this before, but the reason why I love this movie is because it's just a good mood movie. There is a conflict and there are some like things in it, but the one thing that prevents me from watching a lot of movies is just like the sad parts of any movie. I'm just like, do I really want to experience those emotions right now? Do I really want to be sad or upset? And I feel like Ferris Bueller's Day Off is mostly just like, it's like a good positive vibe movie. Even Big Lebowski like has points where it can get like kind of stressful and stuff. Even if you don't know what's to come. I mean, even if you do know what's to come, like it can get like that. But this movie is truly like positive vibes the whole time because of Ferris motherfucking Bueller. And I'll talk more about it in a second, but I don't think I have to say too much. It doesn't.
No, I mean,
yeah.
No, it definitely is a feel good movie. I think, like, now the fucking the big scene of the Lambo.
Yeah.
With the guy taking the Lambo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all the.
That shit was great.
It was.
I bet that hit for a lot of people. Especially like during that time. I know that shit hit for a lot of people. Yeah. I know this movie, like, I know Ferris influenced a lot of people. Damn, I know this movie had a massive impact.
Yeah.
When it came out, like, I bet motherfuckers were skipping school.
I feel like this is like the Scott. Maybe Scott Pilgrim is the wrong word, but I just wish I saw this movie in high school. Like, this feels like the high school movie, and I don't even know if we had that. Honestly,
no, I don't. Nah, we had Get Out.
So upsetting. It's so, just reflective of our generation. That's what we had to focus on.
Get Out's cool.
Get Out's cool, but like I said, it's not a happy movie. You know, it's reflective of how sad everybody is.
But yeah, Ferris, it's also short. You know, all the movies I've seen this time were short. I think Big Lebowski was like the longest. That's like 1 hour and 50, I think. But
yeah,
very fun.
Very funny.
Ferris is, you know, he's a good MC. Someone you just want to get behind, you know.
Yeah. He's
everyone wish they had like a Ferris in their life.
Everybody wish they had a Ferris where they could be a Ferris. And what makes Ferris so good is that Ferris is not the one with the issues in this movie. Because if he had issues, he'd be more like us. He'd be more human. He would be less superhuman, less capable of dodging all these shots coming his way. but the issues are with Cameron, and the conflict is with him, and it's like Ferris like helping him out, and it's kind of like I don't know, him talking to the screen. It's almost like he's helping you out as well, while he's like helping Cameron out, and there's a lot of things that this movie like reminds me of, like that like meta angle of it, like where it's like, yo, I'm in the movie right now, and yeah, I'm here to help Cameron, but I'm also here to help you. The entire movie he's like talking to the camera, you know, he's always like talking to the camera, and it's very clear that you as a viewer are also a character in this story. You're also a part of this narrative, and that element of it is just something that I really like, and I feel like it adds a layer to it that kind of makes me more in the world than I usually am when I watch movies. And I feel like every single thing that Ferris says is like very important, and like you can read into kind of like The Big Lebowski and like think a lot about it. Like when he gets the car, and you know, the guy's like, my dad like never drives it, and he's like, someone who has this car and never drives it doesn't deserve it, you know? And it's just like, damn, like I don't know, think about that. Like there's a lot of things that I own that I like never use, you know, that like maybe I don't deserve, stuff like that. And then there's little things that like when I analyze, like I don't even think the movie's intending for this to be a thing. I don't even think it's like a synecdoche, like, yes, we want you to think about this, but I do think about it. Like when Ferris and them are in the building and they're at the top, like looking down, like Ferris, I don't remember what Cameron says, but Ferris says something like, oh, you can only really see how good the world is from high places. And that kind of makes me feel like, I don't know. I think about how like my mom has like more money than most people, and I live in like a house, and some people live in an apartment, and like there's things that I see that I guess other people don't see, or like some value in things that I have that maybe other people don't have, and I feel bad about that sometimes. But then, you know, I think about that and I'm just like, man, maybe I don't even, and see, that's the thing, I don't know if the movie means this, but maybe he means that, because Ferris is like, I always watch this movie and I'm like, Ferris is lucky to be Ferris because he lives in a house. There are some people that don't live in a house. He has a mom and a dad. Some people don't have a mom and a dad. But, you know, if you have those privileges, use them. You know, if you have a car, or if you have like the ability to finesse, don't act like you're not good enough to enjoy life to the fullest, you know? Like,
Yeah.
do whatever you want. And if, you know, going up to high buildings and taking advantage of our capitalist society, and, you know, getting up there, whether it's through work or whether it's through, you know, privilege, like your parents' inheritance, or whether it's through, I think inherently, like his upbringing and him living in like a suburban neighborhood allows him to be like this to an extent, you know, like there are elements to it that he wouldn't be able to be the person he is if it weren't for those things. But what's he gonna do? Not be Ferris Bueller because he has those things, because he feels bad that he's like, he has like opportunities that other people don't have? No, use those opportunities, you know? And I don't even know if the movie like wants you to read into it that much, but that's just what I get out of it, because it's like the movie's got its finger on the pulse, you know? It knows what it wants to say about life. And even if it's not trying to say something like about this thing, it'll just by proxy accidentally say it about that thing. And that's kind of how The Big Lebowski is too, where it like accidentally will say something that like is so much deeper than it even knows itself, possibly, you know? And that's kind of like the main reason why like this movie is like my favorite movie, because it's telling me the thing that I always struggle with, you know, to be confident in myself and just do what I want. You know, life moves pretty fast. If you don't look out the window, you'll miss it, or whatever he says. I feel like I could make like a Genius of Ferris Bueller's Day Off video like series if I wanted to, just on like every line in this movie, because I also think this movie is like, I don't know, I really do think about like JoJo when I watch it. I think the principal like as Dio, just like a comically like, I want you to suffer, I want me to be right. Even though you're really not doing anything wrong, I'm saying you're doing something wrong because you're not going to school. And I love like, because there are people like that. Like he's cartoonish, but there are, I don't know, most of my teachers were honestly like that. Just like had to stick up their ass, did not give a fuck. And there's just something so nice about him just taking L after L after L, just like fate, like just not going his way, like Dio. And just little things like that. And I think the acting is great. I really think that Ferris Bueller has the sauce. I think Matthew Broderick is like perfect for that movie, like his look and his performance. And then there's another thing, and I think this is the one thing that's intentional. There's that song that he sings at the parade float, like Donka Shaver. Every character in the movie, like throughout the movie, like in the beginning of the movie, in the shower scene, he's singing the song like before, you know, he plays it at the parade. And then you hear like the principal humming it at one point, and like I think other characters like are singing the song, like his dad. So everybody knows this like song, and it's like the song at the end of the movie that kind of represents like that everybody's dancing to, because Ferris Bueller is like so cool and everyone loves Ferris so much. It's almost like Ferris's positivity is so contagious that it affects everybody. It's affecting everyone in the universe of the movie, and it's affecting you because he's talking to you as well. Because while this is for Cameron and, you know, it's for that character, it's also for you, the audience, so that you can realize like, you know, when everybody kind of sees life the way, like this way, and kind of like takes advantage of it, they're not going to be as pessimistic. They're not going to be as negative. Things will be better than they usually are, you know, if you kind of approach things that way. And before I even saw this movie, I did have that perspective for a little while during my peak post high school. And then I lost it because I lost my confidence again. But every time I watch that movie, kind of instills that back in me. And I think about everything. I think about all the things that we like. Like I honestly think about like Matrix and Synecdoche because of that fourth wall breaking element, because it just feels so real. Watching this movie is like being around like that friend that you love to be around. Like there's nothing you dislike about them. They're the life of the party. They're like so fun. And I feel like I just don't even like have like that anymore. You know, I don't even have like somebody on that level. And I used to like feel that way about people like in high school and stuff. And this is just, it just kind of brings me back to that. Yeah. So that's, I guess, the most that I gotta say. I think it's just a movie that talks to you in a very cool meta way while simultaneously still being an easy breezy, casual, fun experience. And I feel like the more you watch it and the more you think about it, you can pull so much more out of it because it just knows what it's doing the whole time. So that's my Truman Show. It's like my movie that's like that, because you'd think that I would enjoy like a Synecdoche or something more, but I'm not enthusiastic to rewatch Synecdoche and to think about it and to be sad, you know? I'm enthusiastic to think about this and be happy. Kind of like, I don't know, like with you with Truman Show, like I think maybe you like it more than like Matrix because it's funny, you know? Yeah. And I find this movie extremely funny. I think like all the jokes, usually when I rewatch a movie, the jokes get old. They like don't get old in this movie. There's some hilarious like shit. Oh man, so fun.
There's a lot of funny shit.
Yeah.
The sister went through an arc too.
Say again?
Her Ferris' sister.
Yeah.
Went through a little arc too.
Yeah, and I connect with that a lot because I'm like that a lot just in life, where I'm like, my things not being the way I want them to be gets filtered into anger, and then like I'm just mad because other people get to have it good and I don't, right?
Yeah.
And
Charlie was just like, she's like, I hate Ferris. She's like, why?
yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I love that. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, and the music, the soundtrack is so good in this movie. Every song is like perfectly timed, like perfectly like placed. Um, yeah, and this movie is very similar to Lupin the Third in so many ways. Like Lupin's whole thing is that he steals shit and he like doesn't give a fuck, and that's what they do in this movie. Like Ferris Bueller like steals a car and he doesn't give a fuck. And that's a big part of the Lupin franchise too, like the car that he drives and like how cool it is. So the idea of like this is our American Lupin and he's stealing like a Ferrari or whatever the fuck that car is, and I'm just like, yeah, he's literally like American Lupin. He's so cool.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought the movie was going to take a major shift when those guys took their car for a joyride. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be like a
Yeah.
recovered car,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
car back in time.
hmm
But
And I love that it wasn't that.
yeah, I'm happy it didn't go that way.
There's so many
And those
movies
guys,
that do that. Go ahead.
yeah, those guys were on their like own Ferris little journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
They took that opportunity and
hmm
you know.
There are so many movies where the beginning is really nice because they're just kind of chill and like you're getting to like vibe with the characters, and then like a conflict happens that kind of like rips you away from that, and you don't even really like the conflict as much. And that in a lesser movie, that's what it would have been, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something, you know, that's something that like the only thing I can compare it to is Big Lebowski, even though Big Lebowski is different, but it's so similar where like it's like, yeah, bro, we're just here to have fun. Why would I focus on that? Who wants to see that? That's not what Ferris is trying to say to you. Yeah. So,
All right.
yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much, but I love that movie, and I will in the future before I die. Hopefully, I'll make a YouTube video on everything that I have to say about it, because that shit's so good.
Yeah. I'll probably give it an 8.
Nice. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. And with that said, I skipped a movie because I didn't think you cared. Have you heard of National Lampoon Christmas Vacation? Have you heard of that? It is considered like kind of like on par, not on, maybe not in terms of popularity, but it's a Christmas classic. Like it's one of those like default Christmas movies, you know. But the reason why some people might have not heard of this, and I didn't watch it until this past Christmas, was because there's some swearing in this movie. There's some raunchy stuff in this movie. So you didn't see it on Disney Channel. You didn't see it on like the kids networks. And I watched it, and this is a fire ass Christmas movie. And something to pay attention to. It's written by John Hughes, the guy who made Ferris Bueller. And it's so good. It's so fucking gas. It's like, it's a good Christmas movie. I don't even like Christmas movies that much. I don't like Christmas that much. This movie makes me like Christmas like a little bit. I'm like, damn, good times, good times. I think you'd like the movie. I think you'd actually really like it. Yeah, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jokes in this movie that you would not see like now, you know? And I respect that. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 for that movie though. Like that movie was very fun. And yeah, man. We did it. We got now the big time. The big chungus one. All right, let me start a new thing. All right. Whew. All right. Yeah, man. Fucking turn the volume up on you a little bit, maybe. Yeah. Belladonna of Sadness. I watched this, and as soon as I watched it, I was like, I demand you to watch it, Manny. Please. we have to watch this for the next episode. I did watch this while high, which was crazy to experience. But what do you think? I love this movie. I thought it was awesome.
How'd you hear about it?
I've mentioned this so many times. I'm like, you've never heard of Belladonna of Sadness? I think I've known about this movie for so long that I don't know. Like I've known about it like always when I was trying to like find more unique like movies. Um, people just like I just saw the poster. I just kept seeing the poster. I heard some people mention it like briefly in YouTube videos, and then I remember someone saying like the movie's not animated. It's like a lot of still pictures, and I was like, that's interesting. Like that sounds like not very fun, but if people say the movie's good, like I gotta check it out if that's what it is. And um and I just like heard remnants of it, and I bought the Blu-ray last year, and I was just waiting for a reason to watch it. Um and then I finally watched it last month because it was like Christmas, and I'm like, you know what? This is how I'm spending my Christmas. I'm gonna watch like a try hard movie that I've been waiting to watch, and this movie exceeded my expectations. I was very pleasantly surprised. This was so creative. It was so cool. Yeah, I don't know how I knew about this movie, but I've known about it like for years. Like I'd say before we started this call, like I've known about it like even like before then.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
I don't know, man. I think you should go ahead.
okay. Well, I saw this a while ago. It's not as fresh in my head, but um, I I just loved it. I feel like everything was married together so elegantly, especially since it's not like really animated, and it's like, I mean, it is animated, like, but there's a lot of still images that like either scroll down or like scroll up or scroll like left to right, and they just tell a story that way. And then it's like the music and and what you're seeing paired with that, and it's just like holy shit. Like I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen anything presented in this way before. This is awesome. This is so cool. And I was wondering like why haven't I seen this movie before? Like why is this not as popular as like I don't know, Akira and Ghost in the Shell. Like after I finished it, I was like, wow, this really should be on that type of wave, because this is at least like just off of how unique it is, it should just be talked about, even if people like don't like it. But it's because it's about sex, and it's because it has some very graphic stuff in it. And that's why it's not popular. That's why people don't talk about it. And like I said, I kind of like to see crazy shit. I like when I'm seeing something that actually shakes me. There's a lot of stuff in movies that like doesn't phase me anymore, and the shit that happens in this movie really phased me, and it kind of like made me more invested as a result of just how crazy the rape scene is, or that. And I feel like, you know, Devilman is like my favorite thing, and Berserk is like my favorite thing, and I feel like there's so many things that those things say about guys and the conflicts that like a guy goes through with like their lust and their desires. And this is kind of like that, but for girls. And it does it with the same edge and the same like violence that you see in Berserk and like Devilman. And whenever I see a movie like with like about like women, it usually doesn't have that, because they usually don't want that like in there. But it's in this one, and it's like my perspective is like, if it's real and that's just like how the world is, I don't know, talk about it in like some fashion. And there's probably there's probably a ton of movies where like, I don't know, people get raped and like that's the plot of the movie. But I've always felt like you know, there has to be an end goal to this, you know, like if something like this happens to you, this can't be something that you live with forever, or like that you can't be happy with on the other end of it. Devilman kind of comes to the conclusion that like, you know, it's just, I don't know, Devilman has a very depressing ending, and that's kind of why I like it, because it doesn't even try to have like a happy ending. Because in my life, I didn't feel like it was very possible once you become like so jaded and evil towards the world, like you could ever like recover from something like that, you know? Kind of like Berserk. Like I kind of didn't want to see the ending of Berserk because I'm like, they're not gonna pull it off. Like a happy ending, like after all that, like no way, you know?
Yeah.
And like I feel like I I never get to see the ending to Berserk. Like that's why I love Devilman so much, because it felt like it gave me some kind of ending. Even if it wasn't a happy one, it was like a bittersweet one where the dude dies at the end. But still, I was like, I liked that. Like at least that was a conclusion, you know? Um and it feels like this movie is like explicitly like it has a much more positive outlook on it, like after the fact, after like that scene. And I really resonated with it, and I feel like it's a crazy thing to say, like you know, there's a lot, I don't feel like a lot of people would accept like a movie like this, which is why it's not really popular in America. Like a character getting like straight up wicked city'd and then like kind of walking out of it like a G, like kind of like a goat. And and I like that. I like the idea that her perspective and seeing how far things can go in a bad direction gives her the ability to have a greater, wider perspective than everybody else when it comes to sex and when it comes to life and when it comes to like what you are and aren't allowed to be into. Because I've always had that perspective, because anybody that has like evil fetishes or like kind of degenerate things that they like, they would turn off the off switch if they had the ability to, you know? It's not like they're undisciplined or they aren't trying. It's just like things are tough, and like once you see something once and you like it once, it's like it's kind of hard to let go of it. And when you let go of it, it almost feels like you're holding yourself back or you're depriving yourself of like certain pleasures. And I kind of like that. I don't know. Like this, it looks like she kind of has like a Ferris Bueller moment where it's just like, hey, life's short, man. I'm gonna have fun, and I kind of just respect that a movie has the confidence to say that and to be honest about that. And I like how it affects the world and the narrative and what's going on. And I think that stuff is stuff that I deal with a lot, just like not being confident in myself. And like at the end of the movie, or like near the end, you know, it's showing all the villagers like being like, oh wow, like, you know, I feel so much more, I feel like I truly like understand who I am now after like meeting Belladonna. And they were like, she's so sexually liberated, and she kind of allows me to be whoever I want to be. Then like now I've truly like found myself. And I like that, because I feel like everybody is like fake in that regard. It makes me so surprised when people kind of ridicule fetishes or kinks, because it just makes me think either you put your dick through a blanket and like you have like the most normal stuff that you feel okay with, right? Or you're just being like discriminatory in ways that you're just a follower. Like you just follow what other people say. Like you don't, those opinions are not rooted in anything tangible that means anything, that isn't trying to just push away things that you're scared of, you know? You're like the king in this movie, like the king that just kind of wants things to be the way they are. It's like, no, like I want the world to function the way that I've decided it functions, like under God and whatnot. And I feel like, especially in a post Serial Experiments Lane world, we cannot be like trying to backpedal. It's too late. Like I don't know. We gotta just accept like where things are, and I feel like this movie kind of makes me feel like it brings like a logical like step by step process of someone like coming to that realization. And I like how, even though like you know, like her husband, I believe her husband like raped her at like one point in the movie, or at least like forced himself upon her, and she like has sex with him at the end. And I think that sex scene is when like the music's playing and then it cuts to like I don't know, it shows like New York or something for like half a second, and it's just showing like all these images like spamming you on the screen for like half a second of like these crude drawings. And what I derived from that was that on the soundtrack, that song is called Take It Easy. And I don't know how to say this without sounding crass, but when I'm like enjoying myself, like that's kind of how it feels, where you just kind of take into account the entire world and everything that encompasses it and you within it, and you kind of acknowledge that like this euphoria that you're feeling or this enjoyment that you're feeling is not something that you have to deprive yourself of, because this is kind of like what the world is about. Like this is so good that this is what everything is about. You know, everything kind of revolves around you being happy and about you being able to be yourself and enjoy like everything that you're going through. It's such like a big thing that's so hard to articulate like with words, and that's kind of why I like the way the movie does it, where it just like shows you a bunch of flashing images, you know, because like everybody's like, oh, you got post blank clarity or whatever, and I feel like sometimes you get like clarity of like, wow, I actually earned that. Like when I remember when I said I stopped like jerking off for 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, when I did that, I didn't feel any shame. I was like, that was so earned. That was so earned. I deserved it. You know? And I felt like that scene was just kind of like that, where it felt like okay to do that. And the reason why she does it with her husband is because she, you know, once again, another controversial thing that I don't think people would like, but she understands, because the thing that makes Devilman like as lustful as he is the reason why like the husband like did what he did. You know, it's the reason why Femto or excuse me, Griffith like does what he does in Berserk. And she like just essentially like forgave him for that, or like understood the nuance of why he was doing that stuff to her. And then she like kind of showed him how to, I don't know, come to terms with who he is or like what he's done through that sex scene, and just kind of connected to him through that. At least that's how I see it. And it makes me sad that like some people might not like this movie or not accept it, because it makes me feel like people just have their walls up when it comes to sex. And I just wonder what's going on in their brain, you know, like how do they enjoy themselves? Cause like, I don't feel like I would be able to, even if I didn't like see the things that I saw at like a young age or be into the things that I'm into, even if I was into like normal stuff, like I don't know if I would be able to like comfortably like judge like stuff like that, you know. Maybe I have like jokingly done that on here before, but earnestly, like everyone should be able to just like whatever they want to like, you know. I don't feel like I get to see movies that talk about that. If anything, I get to see movies that like talk about the shame that they feel in that, and I don't like that, because it just confuses me, and this movie kind of makes me like, I don't know, less confused. It makes me feel like it's okay, because once you accept it, then you won't have to do it all the time. Then you won't have to validate yourself by doing all the time, you know. Once you accept it and everyone around you accepts it and accepts you for who you are, then you'll just feel normal, and then you can like just go back to like the way you were before. So I don't know, that was, mind you, watched it while high, so these are all like things that I felt while high, but I truly think that I would have felt these things even if I was sober. The movie is like Devilman, like explicitly about sex. And also, like, speaking of Devilman, there is a part in Devilman where he like rapes like one of the bad guys, or like, I don't know, has sex with one of them at least. And the implication is that like it's kind of like this, where it's like you're evil, but don't act like, I don't know, don't act like we're not cut from the same cloth. Like if I fuck you right now, like you're gonna like not be thinking as pessimistically as you do. And that's just kind of like how that scene was in that movie. And I just like the idea of like a character that gets like so OP because of that, and then like is, I don't know, hated by society. And honestly, the ending makes me sad that she just like dies at the end. But
Mhm.
what other way? What other way would it go? You know?
Yeah, with the because by the end she was like super OP, right?
Yeah, she was like super OP. Like she kind of got everybody on her side, and then like the king like had her like burned at the stake or whatever, and then her husband died for her.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know, like how did they even like get her on the stake?
um, I don't remember. I don't remember. I remember she was like just defenseless, and like nobody was helping her. Um, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole French Revolution thing?
Um, with like the Black Plague and stuff.
No, like you know how like they're saying the people who saw her die, like it kind of like was a catalyst of the French Revolution.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. If that's like what happens at the end, that's like the ending. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Well, there you go. There you go, Manny. Started a whole war. Damn right. Definitely should. That's cool. That's really cool.
It's good you don't remember that.
I was high. This was a long time ago. This was like over a month ago. And to be honest, the ending to me is like the least impactful part
Yeah.
of like the whole thing. I feel like her just dying sucks when she was so like god tier. I was like, really? She's gonna die? Like after all this, like she's not gonna like, I don't know, go out like a G or like, I mean, she kind of did, but I didn't think she was gonna die. I was like, nothing can stop her now. She's literally Griffith. Like she's literally the king or the queen, excuse me, of the world. Yeah. So it's starting the French Revolution because these stories are all like part of like an anime Rama trilogy from this director and Tezuka. And there's 1001 Nights, which is like a classic like fable like book from ages ago, and then like Cleopatra. So these are all like rooted in real things, and I think that's kind of cool. So I accept her dying if that's like, I guess, how it really happened. And it's so brief, honestly. The ending is so brief. It doesn't take up a lot of the movie that I just kind of like, I moved on in my brain very quickly, and I just remembered and retained the things that I liked about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love the presentation, man. I love the colors. It's a watercolor movie. I don't it's like it's like that Grimgar show.
Yeah.
It's like that, but like real, like dude put a pencil to paper and just did some shit, and I think that's just so raw. I think it's just so
And how
raw.
like her face would be like super defined at one point, and then like at another point it would be like
Yeah.
faded.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. I love all the like I love all the stuff with the devil, like that was like lusting her. I love how innocent she was, cuz like the stages that she goes through of like being like a demon, like, you know, like post having sex with the devil, and then like before when she's like super innocent. Both sides of her are beautiful. Both, like, I know people who are like the innocent, sweet, like nothing's ever happened to them, the world's been good to them, like kind of person, and then like people that, you know, are on the other end, like her by the end of the movie where she's like a goat and she's like, man, I fuck whoever I want, I do whatever I want, no. And obviously most people fall somewhere in between, but I have one friend who is kind of like her near the end of the movie, and she is so on that side of the fence that I'm like I admire her. I'm like, wow, like I don't know how you are the way you are, because like nobody else I've met up until this point is as okay like with sexual stuff as you are. And she's the only person that I've told like my stuff to, and she like didn't care. And I was like, yeah, like you need to watch this movie. She hasn't like seen it. And I'm like, you need to watch this movie. You'd like it a lot. And I just feel like, you know, there are people like this who exist, and this is like the only path that those people can take in order to be happy, you know? So it's just why I connect with it. It's just why I like it. I like movies that talk about sex. It's such like a critical part of human existence. It feels so weird that it's not
explored enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is just like an entire movie that considers it like the main part of the plot. That's just why, honestly, I feel like maybe I feel like sometimes, no, Berserk is goated, but like there's a part of me that's like, if other things were just allowed to have sex in it, like would I like Berserk as much? Would I like Devilman as much? Would I like Chainsaw Man as much? You know?
Yeah.
It's just that those things talk about things that other people are just scared to talk about or just don't want to. And I just like when people talk about sex, because nobody talks about it in my real life. So like, where else am I going to learn about it? You know? Yeah, that's like the main stuff I wanted to say. That's the stuff I connected with.
Yeah, rating?
I just gave it a 10. I just gave it a 10. I feel like this is, at least in terms of importance, on par with like Akira and like Ghost in the Shell. I feel like this is something that if you can stomach it, you need to watch. Like this is this is like, I was upset when I watched it. I was like, why did I not watch this sooner? Like this is so cool. Like, bro, just the slideshow, like the camera doing that, and it goes on for like so long. I feel like there are some scenes where it's like maybe 5 minutes. Maybe I was just high, but it'd be going on for like a long time. I'm like, dude, this is still effective. Like the way that they're doing this, and I think there's so much skill that goes into like where your eye is focused and where your eye is trained, and like what you're looking at. I think that's like, you have to be thoughtful about like what's going to catch people's eye in a picture, whether it's someone's face, whether it's like, you know, someone's thing. And I like how they were able to have the image weave into another focal point, but be like another scene, you know, like that's something I just acknowledged like as I was watching it, and I was like, that's incredible. That's like really hard to do. Yeah, I like that a lot.
You gonna watch other movies they made? Or he made?
Yes. 1001 Nights and Cleopatra I have on the shelf over there. And those are the other two that I think he directed that are like this. From what I've heard, they are not as good as this, or as like cool. But I'm still going to watch them. And I watched the first 30 minutes of like 1001 Nights, and it was cool. It was cool. Like I actually was having a great time. But
Do they look the same?
It's about sex. The main character in 1001 Nights is a guy.
No, is it like the same style, like our style?
No. Okay. The characters look the same, but it's not watercolor, not like slideshowy. 1001 Nights is more of like a normal anime, but it still has like stylistic things like in it that are, they get crazy with each one. They just do their own thing, you know. They get weird with each thing. So I'm gonna definitely check both of those out. 1001 Nights, the volume was so low that like it wouldn't come out on my TV, no matter how much I like turn. Like the native volume was so low that I had to watch it on my computer with headphones. And I'm like, I'll watch this at another time when I like want to sit through it, because I think it's fucking long. I think it's actually like over 2 hours, like an old anime movie over 2 hours. So yeah. 1001 Nights, 1969. I think it's popular for being like the first adult rated anime. I think that's like what it's infamous for. Let me look at the trivia. It's probably going to say some shit like that. debuted in the U.S. that removed almost 30 minutes of footage that was deemed controversial. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll definitely check that out. That one's gonna be fun, and Cleopatra looks good too. So yeah, that's what I have to say about this. I had a great time. I loved the part where it was like the demon's body, and they were like, it showed like Belladonna like fucking people like on the demon's like body. That was like a part that I really liked. That was like, I'm goated. I'm fucking everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even have a rating.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm glad you watched it. This is what, whenever you would be like, I think I've seen all the important stuff, I'm like, no. I'm like, wait. Because I've always like known about this one. And there's a couple more anime movies. I don't know how interested you are in them, but there's at least one more like movie that I really like that I want you to see. Yeah. So 10 out of 10. Belladonna. Loved it. Check it out. It's good. Yeah. That's a call, Manny. That's a fucking call.
Yeah.
We did it. We fucking did it. Yeah. Anything else? You got anything else you want to mention?
Nah.
Nah. All right.
I got a soccer game today.
You got a what?
I got a soccer game tonight.
Ooh. What time is it? It's only
Like
7:30? Bro, we rinsed through that quickly. That was a good call.
Yeah,
right.
I think there's an anime movie.
Do you have a recommendation? Are we gonna do another one soon?
I want to watch this movie called Angel's Egg.
Ooh, great. I'll watch that. Have you heard of it before? Before this?
I know about this. Yes.
Yeah, me too. Mamoru Oshii joint. I'm on my Mamoru Oshii high after that live action one, so I'm ready. I'm fucking ready.
Yeah, the whole thing's on YouTube too.
Yeah, I gotta find an HD version. Hopefully, it's decent quality. All right, Angel's Egg. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Nice. Pleasure as always, Manny. Yeah. Until next time. Hopefully, this one won't be too late. I'm gonna be working like a dog again. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I need money. I have no money. I have no money. Manny, not being able to play video games has had such a negative effect on my life right now. Like, I have nothing to do. If I could play games, it would be great. But this tendonitis happened because I was playing games. So.
Attack on Titan, man.
Yep. Attack on Titan ruined everything. All right. Well, I will see you next time. I'll let you get to your soccer game. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Brody.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, as always. Until next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.